Threw me off your live though.
There we go. Okay, and then there. Now we should have us working on both. Okay. Let's hope that sticks.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let's just say to people to refresh if they are still there.
Botrix has correctly joined the
Oh
channel.
yeah, welcome, Botrix. My little AI. Oh, Ella, you want in on this? Come here. Okay. Okay, good. You guys can please speak slowly. Yeah, let's not. We won't break it. Okay, cool. This is good. I'm not gonna touch anything. You see, my hands are off the screen.
Good luck, bro. Good luck.
Jesus Christ, dude! I could test this for like 3 hours straight the day of, and then go time just for no reason. I'm not saying I did test it
Trust me,
today,
man.
but I
I
we
know,
tested
man.
it a week ago.
OBS does that to you. Are you on PC or on your Mac?
I'm on a Mac. I'm running off
Yeah.
my laptop. So
Yeah.
yeah, it. I gotta give it credit. It's doing a pretty good job, minus the little slight hiccups here and there. But
Well, I like this camera a lot better than your. How many cameras do you have in front of you right now? Three? And
well,
this is like the one.
well, it's because I have those built-in studio display cameras, so those will
Oh, okay.
always work. So that's why I was able to just like push it through that for a minute. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have a little Sony A6300 that
Gotcha.
is serving as my little webcam. It was a camera I bought thinking I was going to take it. Actually, you know what inspired me to get it? It was when I went to Paradise Challenge for the first time. I met Steve Shaw and he was shooting with this little Sony and I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, that's a cool little camera." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I love it for he's got an accent. He's like, "I love it for travel." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll get a camera that's in between a phone and my DSLR and then I'll use it for never fucking use it." So it became a fast forward a few years later, and I started doing the streaming. I'm like, oh, there's my streaming camera, perfect. So I actually
Yeah.
got use out of it. Let me do one thing. My cat's gonna just interfere here. I'm gonna get her little bed.
You better be careful with your cat pressing the wrong buttons, Joey.
That's what I'm trying to get her out of there. She's gonna hit the nuclear switch. Come on,
That's a bad idea, man.
come
That's a
on,
bad idea.
come on. Go ahead.
Hey, at least you're wearing pants and you didn't get up naked on the bottom.
Listen, yeah, barely. Okay, there we go. She can hang out
Bro,
there.
I'll just wait for that cat to jump past your shoulder,
Dude,
hit the
this
hit the laptop.
this is like my it's my laptop stand that turned into like a
Yeah,
$500 cat bed perch. Okay, there. She'll be decent there. Okay. All right, I think we're good.
I saw on your BTS that you were playing on the beginning Nikon. Are you still shooting Nikon or you switched?
Oh yeah, baby. I'm still Nikon. Actually, let's do this.
Really, man?
I'm just gonna start the like recording part of it,
Yeah,
the IG, all that shit. Okay.
yeah. Start it
So
off.
let me run that little bad boy.
And then I'll put Instagram on here on my screen so I can see chat and
Perfect. Oh
hopefully
yeah.
see the questions
Yeah. Let me get that
coming
ready
through.
for mine too. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna let's just start Instagram.
Yeah, and I'll refresh this.
Okay. Instagram is officially live.
Yeah, yeah, I see Instagram too.
Cool. Okay. Oh, let me turn my volume off on here. Okay, cool. All right, that's working. Amazing. Oh man, gonna not jinx anything.
Things are happening, man.
Can anyone on Instagram give us an audio check and let me know that you can hear us coming through?
Hey Keith, hey Riss, hey, what's up, everybody?
Audio,
What's up with the
audio,
thumbs up
Instagram.
bubbles, man? The
Yeah,
thumbs up
you.
bubbles, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that's in Zoom now. Rob,
Okay.
okay, thanks, dude. Okay, Brad, appreciate it. All right, let's get this. Okay, now we are officially going here. Okay, perfect. Amazing. Cool. We got some people chiming in. So, all right, let's just get right to it. So, we have
Yeah.
Danny Batista, amazing photographer. Happens to live like right down the street from me, but we've never really hung out in person. We've maybe crossed paths like in the food hall in Jamaica, and
That was
so
it.
I will only run into you overseas, but not down the street.
Right. That's
So
pretty
okay,
normal, man, these days.
yeah,
That's pretty normal for a lot of people.
that really is like there's you know what I went to Mykonos like a few years ago, just on a little fun trip, and I ran into more people from Miami that week than I like people that I never see for years. And then
Right.
but I hung out with them all in Mykonos magically, and you know would never see them here in person. So yeah, so that it's kind of makes sense. It goes with the theme.
But now here we are again, man, down the street from each other, but
There
we're
we,
zooming.
yeah, exactly. He goes, I could come by. I'm like, no, it just wouldn't feel right.
That would be kind of weird though, with me shoulder to shoulder, like you
No,
are
I
with the
know.
models, like to each other.
We had a little debate about it on the stream on Monday, and somebody's like, you should have him in person live, and I was like, no, I get in a normal like a podcast where we like sit across from each other and we're like looking at each other, but if you were like shouldered up with my cat over our shoulder and we're like talking to each other and not the camera, it would have been kind of weird.
Right, yeah.
So
It'd be kind of odd. Or
okay.
I'm in your living room watching TV by the fireplace and we're like talking off opposite side of the corners of the room.
Exactly. So he says, "What's going on, Joey?" AKA the they them booster man. They them booster man. I like it. I'm still the verdict is not out yet. If my woke profile is helping or hurting.
I don't know, man, if it's gonna work. I hope it works just because of the ridiculousness of it. Like I want it to work and it should, but it's just so ridiculous that we have to go through these feats to like make this
I
happen.
know. I know. That's actually one of the things I want to talk to you about is like the shared struggles of because we both
Dude.
shoot like sexier stuff and
Right.
it is a struggle, man. But before we get into all that, why don't we do a little proper introduction?
Sure.
Tell everybody, just give yourself a little intro, and then I want to ask like kind of how you got into photography. What's your origin story?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So again, my name is Danny Batista. You can see that all over the lives. I have been shooting for 10 years now, about a little bit over, professionally. So that's full time, nonstop. But unlike you, man, and I don't know how you started, I am, even though my Instagram is full of more of like the editorial, commercial fashion, storytelling type of stuff with portraits, I started out with automotive
Okay.
and real estate. So for me, I started out shooting what my friends were into, right? So they're over here building their cars, lowering their cars, going to car shows, building engines. And I'm over here attempting to document that and shoot that in a way that is awesome. But if we backtrack even more to that, I've been using Photoshop since 1999, like doing face replacements and
Okay.
changing out skies and putting lightning bolts out of 3D text and building MySpace pages, you know, all this kind of crap when I was 15 back in those days. I'm 40, by the way.
Okay. Oh
So
wow. All right. There you go.
yeah, man. 1999, I was using Photoshop. And so I actually started being creative in that method. And then as the years went by and started jumping into photography, you know, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, that whole compositing and Photoshop creativity led itself to what I implement with my photography. So compositing, you know, off-camera flash shots with automotive photography, lighting different parts of the car and combining it all into one shot.
Yeah.
Um, Real estate photography, I'm light painting houses and rooms and making the most beautiful light possible and compositing it in Photoshop. So all that tied together with the creativity aspect, and I started doing photography while implementing the Photoshop side of things as well. That was just natural for me. And that was, you know, almost a decade ago.
Did you go to
That
school
led
for
itself.
anything related to that?
So I went to school for computer science. So I got a 4-year degree back in
Okay.
2005 out of Texas, A&M Corpus Christi, Texas. But I was doing that simply to get into the corporate American, you know, world, right? I'm over here trying to find a full-time job that's going to pay well, and that was computers. So I
Okay.
had a computer science degree, programming, and my thought was I'm going to be able to implement my creative graphic design, Photoshop techniques with my programming. But dude, no way. That's just cubicle life, monkey work. I'm sitting there in a cubicle all day, and it's not what I needed to be doing. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
left that pretty quickly and started freelancing right off the bat and doing my thing.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I think let me just double check here. It looked like
Yeah.
people were having trouble on IG. They lost their sound. And I don't know why this happened the other night too. Can you do me a favor and just look on your IG and turn up the volume and see if
Yeah. Let me just go over here real quick.
okay.
And yeah, I can hear you on
It's
IG.
working? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, IG has a problem where okay, yeah. So I know the situation now on IG is if somebody loses its sound, they have to they have to just close it, exit it, and then come back on.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. If let me just write a message. You
Yeah, go ahead.
lose audio, close the live, and join again. Okay, cool. All right. Anyways, okay. If anyone else loses that, come over to YouTube and Twitch is a little less troublesome with the audio. Okay, so
Yeah,
going back into your story.
I thought the YouTube view was good too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We should be chilling on all those. So were you essentially doing you were doing graphic design type of stuff? I mean,
That's how I started freelancing, man. Like having my own full-time kind of gig. I was doing freelance web development, web design, graphic design, that kind of thing.
okay.
And none of that led itself to photography till a little bit later on, where I started implementing both of those together. And then eventually that just led to doing photography full time. But I had always started with more of these like automotive real estate kind of world and never even touched working with people. Just because I was more comfortable shooting inanimate objects, man,
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that don't
Yeah.
talk back or have bad days. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it was just easier to position things and do things like that in my own space without working with people, which is a whole other thing, as you know.
Yeah. 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 So did you ever have any besides the freelance work? Did you ever sit in a job like a full time gig that was related to this, or did you just skip that whole
Never.
thing altogether? Man,
Yeah,
way to
that was
go.
never the case, man. Yeah. I mean, the what I went to school for is what I got a job for, and then I realized, don't just need this awesome paycheck. I don't feel creative at all, and so that started leading me down the path of what I
Yeah.
enjoyed doing, which was the freelance work.
Oh shit. Uh, why did I just lose audio on you? Hold on a second. Okay. Okay. All right. You're back. You're back. Okay. Somebody said that YouTube is still broken. Let me see if I can turn off
I see
YouTube.
YouTube working great. I see YouTube doing its thing.
Man, I don't know why. So here's what the most annoying thing that happens with live stream is somebody like maybe the feed goes off on one person and they're like it's broken, and then that like takes my attention to like fixing it, but then the reality is like no, it's working for me. It's working. So just everybody refresh if it like goes away because we are kind of watching and making sure that it is actually still live
Yeah.
on our end, and you're saying it looks good, right? So
I see us talking. I see us doing our thing. I do see that, like you are a little bit ahead of me on some things, it looks like, just because.
yeah, that's gonna happen for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, it seems to all be working at the moment, so I'm just gonna not touch anything again. Okay, so you did skip the traditional 9 to 5, basically.
Yeah, man. I mean, of course, like in high school and stuff, I had normal types of jobs, summer kind of jobs. And then when I got out of college, I had that job for under 9 months. And I literally quit that to start pursuing freelance stuff. So basically, I found out that I did not need to be sitting in that cubicle, man. And then
Yeah.
freelancing started from there. And that was back in '05. You
Oh wow.
know, yeah, man. So it's been a while of being full time doing that freelancing thing. But
So you
photography started a little bit later on as I started realizing that I enjoyed more of the photography side of things instead of the coding and programming side of things.
well was it part of that because I went through the graphic design route as well, and the thing that I found, maybe you can relate to this. I felt like with graphic design, it was this nice intersection of I think I'm kind of a pretty balanced. Jesus Christ, this cat. Right brain, left brain. You know, like I like doing the techie stuff. I like the art and creative stuff. And it's funny because in photography you see a lot of people that are like engineers. They're like maybe far on one side of that. They're more tech, and then photography is like where they
Right.
get to explore the creative side, you know, for the first time. And then you have the artsy fartsy people that maybe just love it, but they're not into the technical side of it, and like they need somebody else to like set up their lights. But I think you're probably similar to me, where we're kind of like split down the middle and enjoy both sides of that. And graphic design felt like a good mix of that, except for me, I realized like I'm gonna just sit in a cubicle my whole life. With photography, you get to do both of those things and be outside, like working with people and doing things. It's a more exciting and less office centric type of job.
Mundane
Yes.
atmosphere in the office. Yeah. So I'm the
Yes.
same way, man. I mean, because I had that graphic design background and that like creative side of me that really loved doing that, it
Right.
lent itself perfectly to photography. And then being able to not sit in that cubicle, being able to be outside, interfacing with clients, and I guess even having some of that entrepreneurial mind in conjunction with the creative side of me allows me to combine all that together to an actual functioning business that I
Yeah.
enjoy doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. It is. It's also. Are you a bit of a? I would assume you're a major perfectionist, right? And when you're a perfectionist, you kind of it's it's actually becomes frustrating working with a team in a sense because you want to do everything your way. So do you feel like this lets you kind of wear all those hats and like be the business guy, be the creative, be the technical guy, the tech support, and the marketing guy and all that? I mean, is that kind of, because for me, that's what I feel like. It's like a one man band, and I love it. Like I like that where it doesn't bore me because I'm juggling all the time. Like, would you
Yeah,
relate to that?
absolutely, man. I enjoy working on all those things. I love to do like the actual work. So it's kind of hard for me to even like provide other people or manage other people. I prefer to like put it all on me,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
enjoy those aspects of the business side of things. I find it hard to duplicate myself, which I know is like a big thing you need to do if you're like scaling your
Yes.
business and
Yeah.
whatever else. That's a really tough thing for me. And I've had my opportunities to kind of duplicate myself in the web development space and kind of didn't enjoy that so much because still felt like at the end of the day, while they're going home back to their wives and families and dinners, I'm still correcting or fixing things and doing what I need to do
Yes.
to get it done right. So I've been there and done that, man. But I will say I am a team player. Like that's a
Yeah.
big thing for me. I do enjoy like getting in there and going, okay, guys, check out what we're getting, or it's on my Capture One catalog. This is what we got going on. How can we improve it? Bet, Jim, I heard that. Melissa, cool, let's try it. And
Yeah.
I'm that kind of person. So it doesn't have to be something where I'm like, no, guys, I'm the professional, and I don't
Right.
want to hear your
Yeah.
voices.
Yes.
It's not like that.
Not a dictatorship, because I do love working with a team, and I think that is one cool thing about doing this over time. You get to sort of build up your like perfect team who can be your friends, but also like the best, person to come on as a lighting assistant or production assistant
Right.
or whatever it is, and then travel with them, and then it really becomes fun. It's like, I guess, almost like a band that gets to go on the road together. It kind of has
Yeah,
that feel, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely, man. So like again, I've run into the team atmosphere obviously a lot through all the different things I do because now I'm shooting a lot of food, so a lot of restaurant photography, a lot of food photography, private chef photography, a lot of luxury real estate, and a lot of portrait are like the three major industries that allow me to have this career and have nonstop work. Like even through
yeah,
the pandemic, even through whatever. And now I even teach. Like I know you do workshops and
yeah,
stuff too.
yeah.
So teaching for me has obviously been a cool thing too to really help others, get to the same levels.
What is your bread and butter right now? What would you say? What part of photography is your primary focus or your most in demand, from a client perspective?
Because of social media and that what I'm mainly posting on my social media on Instagram and other things and going over tutorials for is portraiture. A lot of
Okay,
that is the primary thing, but it's not like strictly swimwear, like where
right,
maybe that's something you might focus on.
yeah,
all kinds of things. So we're talking about like lifestyle for corporate individuals. We're talking about brand photography for somebody who might have their own small business, but it's still
Yeah.
incorporating a person and what they're doing in that space or the story they want to tell. So a lot of that is
Right.
primary. But I'll tell you what, man, luxury, real estate, and food are also big components of that. And I get to mix a lot of that stuff together with all these businesses. So like all that together keeps me fresh.
Yeah. Are you big on doing retainers? Is that a important part of your overall kind of
No,
business plan?
I wouldn't say, man, that I'm like, okay, guys, we need to get a retainer going for this. Like, I don't ever structure anything like that with my clients, but I have repeat clients over and over and over again. But there's
Yeah.
never like a certain like monthly demand to make sure they're using up their time or the amount of money they want to spend each month.
Right. Or like they have to
Um,
hire you 4 times in a year or something like that.
no, no, no. And
Okay.
I've done that in like the marketing space, the web development space. We've set up retainers for that stuff back in the past. But like for me, yeah, I haven't ever structured myself to have that. But because of how I work and because people enjoy the time working with me, it's nonstop repeat customers. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
pretty normal.
Yeah. I don't do that either. And I have like one buddy who's kind of big on that. And it actually sounds pretty cool the way like he's doing like monthly retainers where he's expected to produce a certain amount of content per month, you
Sure,
know.
sure.
But then he'll get like a 6 month contract signed or something like that. It doesn't, I don't, that doesn't really, I guess, mesh with what I focus on so much because I'm doing test shoots for models and it's not like you got to hire me again in 6 months for your new photos or like brands,
Right.
like when the next fall line comes out, like, so I don't personally do that, but I was curious if that's anything that you get into because you're maybe working with like the food stuff and things that do maybe require clients, I guess, that could hire you maybe multiple times throughout the year. I mean, I would assume
Yeah.
that's probably a nice thing about some of that stuff that you're doing is that they will constantly need new media.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, the big part of the reason I shoot that stuff is because I can't shoot just one thing. Like for me, something somebody mentioned on here, which is actually a good question, the one on Instagram, they said, "How do you be creative with real estate photography?" I mean, there's a ton of
Or in
ways
the
to
queue of O2
obviously
just
set yourself
subscribed.
apart and be creative in each of these industries. For me, it's more about angles. For me, it's more about how I'm incorporating more of the lifestyle of
Yeah,
these spaces, which is a big thing now that we're doing in social media and trying to show the behind the scenes or the lifestyle or the stories behind why somebody might own a particular space or is selling a particular space. So that's the creative side of stuff. But for me, the creativity and the freshness in my brain, man, I don't know if this is how it is for you, but I can't, if I'm shooting real estate, I can't shoot a house every single day and feel good. Like I don't care if it's a
right.
$44 million house, $60 million house, whatever. I don't care how beautiful it is or what the pool looks like. If I'm doing the same thing every day, it's not good for my brain and good for my body.
Yeah,
So that's why I started getting good at all these things. And now all those things together work so well for like, think about this: travel photography, going to a hotel, shooting lifestyle and the restaurant all together
yes,
now. I'm able to create these things that are multiple incomes and
right,
show from a creative standpoint how I can help that company out altogether. So
right.
it actually worked out without me even trying to make that a point in my life.
Yeah, that's actually pretty awesome. You could go to a hotel, do the architectural, the lifestyle, you could do the updated portraits for the the high ups.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very cool, man.
And then even the lifestyle related stuff that we can actually be creative with out in the field, right? On location, on their private beach, at the pool, looking out over the views. So it's actually turned into something that really helps me be able to handle everybody's needs. Like as a vendor, I can go, yeah, we can try that. That's this amount of money. We can try that. That's this amount of days. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
it's turned into that now.
How much pitching are you doing to brands versus they're discovering you via word of mouth?
I mean, that's an awesome question too. Like for me, when I started 10 years ago, 10 and a half years ago, I was pitching for, like a full month and a half straight. And then that would lead to years of work without having to market myself.
Oh
Like
wow.
I would be pitching every day. And within a week, I'm sending hundreds of emails and I'm following up with calls to
Yeah.
see, hey, did you get my email kind of thing. Um, Now I'm finding that I'm still having to do some pitching because I'm trying to pick up new clients in different like regions.
Yeah.
Um, but with social media, like you were just mentioning, with social media like limiting the hell out of us now and trying to bring us down, it's hard for them to find me there, but they find me through my website. So
Right.
I've always found big budget stuff comes from SEO, search engines, and finding me on websites from like marketing agencies, for example. Social media is basically dead to me when it comes to the brand stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man.
How about you? What are you seeing with that? Are you getting a lot of social media finding you?
Well, I don't really rely much on like what I post because the only people that are going to see that are the people that already know I exist.
Right.
If anything, it's good to just like put out, post as a reminder that
Exactly.
I'm still alive to the people
Right.
that do follow me already, but I'm
Right.
not going to get found by new people. However, that's why I'm a little more strategic about who I shoot on my day off.
Yeah.
And maybe like if it's somebody that I think other models follow or brands or whatever it is, somebody that I see is like
Right.
out there making good connections, because then my goal is now to have them post my stuff on their page. So I'm like
Right.
now I guess I'm kind of like the remora fish. Like I gotta like go suck on.
That's a good one, man. That's a good way of putting it, dude.
Yeah.
But that's smart. But here's the thing, dude. That's smart to do. And like the way that you can benefit each other, obviously with these test shoots on your days off, as well as provide brands with a little bit of insight into your style and what you're doing.
Yes.
Getting their attention that way is a quick little like, behind the scene kind of way to kind of sneak in there.
Yeah.
And it's a spec work thing at that point. Like
Right.
it's really easy for you to now go buy the swimwear that you want to get the attention of for that brand, use it to your advantage, shoot exactly what you want,
Yeah.
and now you have people looking at you and going, "Hey, we like that. Go ahead and do that again, and here's some money." Like that
Yes.
stuff happened.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
smart.
And now my deal is to do a collab. You got to do my live stream afterwards. So
There you go. Yeah,
that's
it's
it.
a win.
And I got the next like 4 weeks booked out. Whereas normally I'm not even that motivated to like do a shoot on my day off, And
Sure.
and now I'm like, okay, do the live stream, and then yeah, we'll shoot. I'll see you in 3 weeks, and yeah, it's actually so I can add, I'll get the pictures, I'll get the stuff on their page, so I get my content, I get to market through them, I get to create live content, which now will also be YouTube content, which is a little space that I'm gonna get into, which actually reminded me of a
Yep.
question that I had for you. And before I ask this question, because I know you'll have a full answer for this, I just want to ask if YouTube and Twitch could just give me a little like okay thumbs up that everything's still looking good and working. And same thing with Instagram. Hopefully they still have audio and all that. But every once in a while, maybe somebody give me just a little we're good still. That would be helpful. Unless there's and let me know if there's only anything catastrophic going on. And also, if you have questions for Danny, hang on to them because I plan at the end to just, or like, at least at some point, take a little break. I'll stop yapping and just say, hey, load your questions up now. So hold off on them just for a minute. And like Logan on Instagram, I seem to follow models of photographers to get more bang for the buck. Logan, hold on to that question if you wouldn't mind. Oh, it's our friend Ardani. She's on Instagram.
Yeah, she's
So
awesome, man. What's up, Danny?
so yeah, hold on to those questions because it's hard to talk and then read multiple chats. But when I say, if you got questions, then we'll go through them and I'll actually I'll save some questions and we'll knock them all out. So my question was this: as I was kind of mentioning YouTube, I see that you have a Twitter, but it looks like you really haven't. You were kind of posting strong on there for a bit, and it seems like you kind of stopped posting there. And then YouTube, I noticed the same thing that you have some like really nice quality with like amazing view counts, some great tutorials on there and stuff. But it seems like you really haven't done one of those in maybe a year or so. Like, tell me about
Yeah.
how you're focusing your social media efforts now and why, because obviously you've been testing all the different avenues. So I'm just curious of like, maybe you can shed some light on that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so Twitter is something I've always had, but always noticed that it was more of like speaking into a void. Like for some reason,
Yeah.
it didn't matter how large of a following I had or what kind of content I was making or what anybody was doing. If you look at what kind of engagement they were getting, you had people with, 50,000 followers and they're getting, like eight likes on these things. And I'm like, okay, well, let me try and see if I can build this up. And I didn't seem to get very much traction there. It was very random where traction
Yeah.
might show up. That's the whole Twitter side of things. And then Threads showed up. And so I was like, okay, which of these do I actually enjoy using? They're both the same kind of implementation.
Right.
And immediately, obviously, Threads is awesome because you're pulling followers from Instagram, right? They're all
Right.
coming over as they're signing up.
Yeah.
And so now I have the ability to reach the same people, or even people that weren't getting reached on Instagram because of how much Instagram is just like
Oh, I never
stopping
thought about
people
that.
from like seeing your stuff.
So is Threads, are you currently using
Yeah,
Threads
man. So like
actively?
it's my second avenue
Okay. And
every
and
day, man. And
and Threads
the
is
cool thing
not.
about it to me is
Go
go ahead, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, I think there's a delay, so go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
The cool thing about Threads to me is the more that you're commenting and replying back to people, the more people are seeing you. Like they're doing really good job about your replies actually reaching friends of friends. So I'm getting lots of reciprocal follows off of people that are creating conversations for me,
Okay.
and responding to them gets me put in other people's feeds. So that's what I'm noticing, which is really, really nice.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, cool. I never really got onto Threads. I mean, I posted once on there, when they started out, and then I kind of was like, I don't know. And
Yeah.
the same thing with Twitter. It feels like you're having a little party with your imaginary friends because no, you're like talking and nobody's talking back, and yeah, it
Well,
just
I will tell you this, man. I will tell you this about Threads. I do love the way that it presents the images and photos. So Meta or Instagram or whoever did it right, where I can post whatever kind of carousel I want, and it automatically reorganizes the sliding of this to be that shape. So it doesn't
okay.
limit you. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and again, man, you're automatically picking up followers from Instagram. So the other thing I'm noticing too, especially that's helpful, I think, for you and me, is there's literally no stopping you from posting the same stuff that we're posting on Instagram. It looks like you don't get limited on Threads. Like they
That
don't
was
want
my
to
next
limit your
question.
reach on Threads.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not limiting your reach. The same stuff that you're getting in trouble for over here, which is not a problem, which shouldn't be a problem on Instagram, but it is having zero issues on Threads, and they're both Meta.
So yeah, so
So like
Threads just
obviously,
like keeping the floodgate open just because
exactly,
hey, we need people using it, so we don't care what. Which kind of sucks
exactly.
because you know what they will do if it goes mainstream or gets like really popular and people are using the shit out of it, then will come the advertisers and then will come all the
Yep.
restrictions. That's gonna
Unfortunately,
be
man.
the
But I mean, what I think about is like using this stuff while you can. Like I missed
yes.
the YouTube train and I should have done more of it. But the reason I don't do YouTube as much as like what you were asking is because I feel like YouTube has to be more perfect. I feel like I have to perfect these videos for a week before I post on there.
Mm,
And that's not really my like go-to for providing content. I like to give it more easily, like in story form. So I'm gonna start doing shorts, I think, as a way to like have the middle point of that.
yeah. I think with YouTube, the way I would like to go into it and or I am now is I think with stuff like this where it's something that people will put on in the background, but you're right, if it's a tutorial and you're supposed to be learning, then you got to pay attention. But people are so busy and their attention span's so short that if I have to pay attention, this better be fucking good, better be entertaining, and it better be short and sweet, and there better be no like fat on
Right.
this thing. You better trim it all off for me, right? Whereas there is certain content like I'll put on personally. I watch podcasts all the time, but I just put it on the background and I can
Okay.
listen to a conversation, and then as I'm here by myself, I don't feel alone because there's two people talking, and I think that this, I think that this could be my version of that is doing these kinds of interviews or like the streams I'm doing with models where we're going through photos. So it's like almost if you zone out, it's like ASMR, but you could zone in when you hear something interesting. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's cool for you to figure out the ways that make it easy for you to create the content. That's a huge thing for me, man.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I feel like creating the YouTube content becomes such a chore because I want to perfect it. I have to have these
Yes.
transitions between stuff, these slides that are making you continually engage, figure out how I'm going to end the YouTube video so that you're getting pushed back to other videos. Like to me, that's a little bit annoying. And if I was doing YouTube full time and didn't actually also shoot and do stuff full time, maybe that would be a
Yes.
thing I would enjoy doing, or have the time to do. So that's actually a big reason I started doing my digital tutorials, so that I can actually create easier content that doesn't have to be so perfect. It's more
Right.
about, hey guys, this is something that's really going to help you because it's helped me in my career. Just check this out. And there's no fat on it. It's straight to
Right.
the point, and we're
Yeah.
talking about exact techniques that I know help.
And if those are your fans that are going to watch that, they want it to be long. They don't need it to be polished. They're truly there for the education, right? They're not there for the like eye candy dopamine hit kind of like all in
Right.
one, right? It's like crackheads
Right.
that or kind of the audience. You gotta, yeah, that's what you have to picture is like content crack is like what you're trying to serve up on YouTube, you know? and
Yes.
then and
It's
then
true,
shorts
man.
are like a bump. And then like in a regular video is like, okay, this is like a 3 hour trip or something, you know, this is gonna fuck
You
me
need
up
to make
for
this a t-shirt, Joe. You need to make this a t-shirt, man. What each of the social media things
yeah,
are. That'd be
exactly.
sick.
That's yeah, I might need to start making some merch. No one's gonna see my content anymore. um I'm like slowly I'm digging my own grave right now on social media.
Dude, yeah, with that
Anyways,
whole gay bar flip, man. Well, oh come on. I hope that works for you, man. I hope you create something crazy with that.
I have this weird feeling that it might work because I'm waiting to let my guideline violations clear out or whatever, and then I'm gonna reach out to chat and I'm gonna have a very victim mentality conversation with them and be like, I don't understand. I'm just a trans woman that is trying to be heard, and I feel like I'm being oppressed, and I'm gonna just really, and then I'm gonna have to that person might not be into it, so I'm gonna have to hang up on chat and try again until I
Dude,
until
that
I head
chat,
up.
man. That chat just, I don't know if you've heard me say or seen this in my stories, but dude, I've opened up like 50 cases,
Really?
60 cases at this point through meta chat, and not a single person has been able to help me. I've had like 7 calls where I'm pleading with them on the phone, talking to the meta rep, like just having to try to have them understand. I've sent them some crazy stuff, like basically pornography that's being advertised on meta,
Yeah.
like legit pornography. Like I had an ad show up where a girl was doing some provocative stuff with a tractor shifter, like,
Oh
and it was an
my.
ad, a meta ad on Facebook. So I screen recorded this thing and I sent it to the meta rep, and I was like, I want you to take a look at something, and now I want you to look at my content of this, girl in a full one piece that just happens
Yeah.
to be in from behind walking through some water in the beach. And I was like, which one of these do you think needs to be pulled down or like, not recommended? And like she couldn't answer me. She couldn't use her own eyes to
Oh
like
my God,
determine the
dude.
situation, right? It's just crazy, man. It's so
So
crazy.
so have you had any luck at all through like do you have any success stories in the content censorship game?
Content wars against
Yeah,
Meta.
content wars. Yeah, the meta content wars.
I feel like it's been like small little wins that I thought I won and then realized like it wasn't a thing that I actually won. Like for example, I might appeal something and they go, "Hey Danny, sorry. We realized that you are right." Like I've had apologies from Meta, like, "Hey, we're sorry. We pushed this content down. Your appeal went through as correct and positive. We put your content back up." And then bro, the next week they pull it down again and I'm like, here doesn't have a switch? Like who here can't have like
Yeah,
a white flag that says
right.
no, this is not a problem? Doesn't
Yeah,
make sense.
once you've had something actually appealed, wouldn't that piece of content be like you said, like white flagged to not be pulled again? Even though I get that there's algorithms just sweeping pages over and over and over.
Right. It doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, we are all sane individuals that have like, good intentions, that can
Yeah,
see the problems in all of this, but you wonder to yourself, like in the meta building, why there aren't roundtable meetings where they're going, look at all the comments Mosseri is getting about something about recommended issues. Let's all take a look at this and see what problems we're having. Like
yeah,
that doesn't appear to be happening in this corporate like job. So I don't know, man. Instagram is a tool for me now. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna throw stuff up so people know that I'm there. I'm gonna respond to comments and try to help people out and engage when I can. but I've never looked at it as like the place to get my business like off the ground or like
Right.
elevated. That's the website and my own pitches and my own things
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's smart. That I always said it's not a great idea to have your whole business model rely on an app that you have nothing to do with.
Right.
Right? Like you are not you're not popping by the old Instagram headquarters, and
I wish. I
yeah,
wish, man. I
dude. If
wish.
yeah, I wish a sane person could talk like from our side to a sane person on that side of things. That and somebody that can actually do anything. And as you mentioned, I've only got on chat with Meta a few times, and I did my first phone call the other night, right? Because I was
Yeah.
chatting, and they were trying to like, is there anything? I'm like, no, this is not like nothing's been solved here.
Right.
I'm like, I have no
Right.
answers, and then
Right.
can I call you at this number? And then they called, and I was like, what? I'm gonna talk to somebody?
Yes.
I didn't even know that was a strategy. Like I didn't know that was a thing they would
It's
do.
new. It's new. It's new. They started doing that after all these complaints were doing to try to help you feel better and
That's
to help you
it. That's what I
feel.
realized.
That's
I'm
it.
like, she said, okay, I'm gonna put in the name change request for your other account. I'm like, great. I'm like, oh my God. Dude, nothing that she said has happened. Nothing that was supposed to be. I'm like,
It won't.
I thought I
It
was talking to
won't.
the nicest person.
Yes.
That's it. They're like counselors to talk you off the edge of the cliff.
Off the edge. Yes. It's so true, man. It's
They're
so
like,
true.
I think
Bro,
there's like it's the same people that are answering a suicide hotline. But
dude,
they're
I'm
like,
serious,
it's
man.
gonna be okay. We're gonna get your account back. Okay, just give it time. Yeah, don't no, step back from the ledge. No, 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 no.
Dude,
Help's on the way. Yeah, we're gonna put in that request for your new appeal that photo.
it's exactly what it is, man. That's a perfect analogy. Like you got to see, man. I'm literally like, outside a coffee shop, like talking like this. Hey, her name was Cherry. I think one of the girls' name was Cherry. Her
They're all
fake
named
name. I'm like,
Cherry. Just kidding.
yeah, yeah. I was like, Cherry, listen. I just have to tell you something. Like, since I have you on the phone, like this is how I'm talking to them. Since I have you on the phone, I just want you to understand that I'm not the only person having these issues. I need you to understand that every day on my stories, photographers just like me, professionals just like me who do this for a living,
Yeah.
are here posting with good intentions. We are abiding by the community guidelines and we continue. Like I'm talking like this, dude, like
Yes.
outside a coffee shop. Like the people next to me are like thinking like, yo, this guy's going through it. And I'm like, please, like if anything, if you're the only this is the first time, this is what I said to her. I said, this is the first time I've had anybody actually listen that I know works at Meta. If you could please relay what I'm saying to you, this recorded chat, because this is recorded, right? Yes, Danny, this is recorded. Please play this in one of your meetings with your manager so they can understand and relay this info to a higher up. It will help so many people, like that kind of thing, man. Nothing gets
Of
done.
course not.
Nothing.
I picture this if this was a movie. It's like you and then her, and she's saying, yes, I'm gonna help. And then you and then her, and then you guys hang up and you're like, I think something good might. And then it goes to her and it zooms out and it's like some chick in a fucking office with 1,000 other people that are all with little headsets. So like she's just a little ant in a
Yes.
right. And then it zooms out and then she's instantly on the next call. Like she doesn't remember. There was no note taken. She's right. It zooms out and her note. You see her like moving her hand like she's writing. And when it zooms out, the paper's empty and
Oh
there's nothing
God,
on.
delete. Delete next.
Some giant call center like the size of Costco. Yeah,
Probably what it is, man, honestly.
yeah,
But again, I tell that story too, man, and I think about it and I go, look, guys, if you spend like this would be my like overreaching like umbrella thought behind it for people who also feel the same way, who like struggle to like make this part of their business, is stop trying to make Instagram part of your business
yeah,
and just allow it to be something that allows you to show off your art, show off what you can do, but use
yeah,
that same content for things that actually work. Pitching with emails and having your content in there, finding individuals or companies that could use your work or use your abilities. And I go over this stuff a lot with people, but it's one of those things where you have to like ignore the idea of the likes and the follows and the reach being something that's bringing you down. Use it to display your art and come over
yeah,
here and do the things that actually work, which are the pitching, which actually are finding individuals, working and networking. That kind of stuff is what gets you consistent jobs and what I've seen get me jobs for a decade now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very smart advice. By the
It's hard
way,
for a lot of younger individuals to take that advice too, because they want to be seen, they want to be appreciated, they want these numbers. But like, I literally started when I wasn't even worried about that. My Instagram was still like food photos with a shitty filter on them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, it was
yeah,
anything to do with showing my work off. So I've never had to rely on it and think like it was the main thing. I'm able to push that dopamine away more than most people, I think.
yeah. No, well, yes, I think you are, and because you never relied on it in the first place.
Yeah,
You're
but that's
not.
not fair.
It's again. This goes back to the drug thing. You're not an addict.
I mean, I've been close. I've
Yeah,
been close to
yeah. You
being
go
like,
have your little fun weekend and binge or whatever, but like you're not. It's not when when you wake up in the morning like, like, how many
yes.
likes did it get?
Exactly, man. I've accepted the decrease in reach and been like, whatever. Like, to me, that's not the most important thing because that's not making me money, man. You know, like,
Yeah,
this is a career for me. It's something that I love to produce and create amazing stuff and work with amazing people. But I do know how to make the money on the other side of stuff, and so that can sometimes be not, the most glamorous types of shoots, but still edging myself into that arena whenever I can.
yeah. Let me see. Let's take a couple of questions for a second.
Yeah,
I think I
sure.
see a few here. Okay, now it says, you know what, guys? Our creator forefathers would be ashamed of us as we complain about meta. We're filmmakers after all. Why are we spending time arguing against IG bots? What we should be doing is making content that shows the injustice. Yeah, I guess
Oh, there
so.
you go, man.
That was deep. Uh, okay, question from Mad Max on Instagram. How and who to pitch to? I guess, how do you, let me try to repackage that question. First of all, how do you decide who your next pitch is going to be to? Is it something that comes up on your radar? Do you decide that, you know what? Okay, here's a little industry I'm going to tackle that I've been doing really well with here, and now I'm going to go do it in this other region, like you said, or whatever it is. So I start Google searching. Can you maybe give us a little bit of like when you sit down and you're like, it's time to I need to pitch to some new clients. Like, what would be this little like workflow?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let me give you like actual experience examples and nothing to do with portraiture, at least in the beginning. I want to talk to you about like how I've done it in the past with real estate and food, because I
Okay.
think that's a little bit more of an easier thing to find those solutions. So, for example, if I was going to pitch a restaurant on good looking food photography for their menu, for social media, for whatever it is, and I'm just talking pictures at this point in time because there's
Okay.
a large range of things you can do for content for restaurants. What's the easiest way to find a restaurant? Google Maps,
Yeah.
DoorDash, Yelp, all these things, their phone number exists and their website exists. So I can literally go down the list of restaurants and start pitching. I'm going to talk to you about how I pitch, but there's a little bit more strategy to it. Why would you go and pitch a really crappy hole in the wall Mexican restaurant versus a luxury 5-star Michelin restaurant or something in a really beautiful hotel? You would go this route
Right. Yeah.
for a number of reasons, right? And if you don't have a portfolio in this industry, guess what you do? You shoot it for free. It's a test shoot, just like you would
Yes,
do with a person.
exactly. Yeah.
So my goal and my initial pitch, if I never shot food before, but I want to get into it, is, hey, restaurant with beautiful plated food that's working with chefs that care about how it looks, I would love to create some content for you guys that's similar to this. Let me spend some time. Let's do an hour of time and kind of create some stuff that really works for your social media assets and your website. And is there anything else that you think you would need content for? And by the way, totally free, right? Totally free. Or you can even pay for the food to eat and then give them the content afterwards, giving them even more of a
Yeah.
reason not to
Right.
say no, right? The benefits of doing that with this beautifully plated food is even if you suck at photography, the odds of you getting really great shots are going to be a little bit better
Right.
because of those great ingredients. Same thing as working
Right.
with like a great model, right? The idea is you can probably get better photos for now your portfolio pieces. Nobody knows that you shot that for free. And you can now use those shots to pitch every other amazing restaurant. And they're going to go, wait, you worked with that Michelin restaurant?
Yeah.
Oh, we must use you. We have to try to use you. So like your odds of getting these things to work well for you increase so much with that.
What you just
That's one
said,
example of like food.
what you just said reminds me of how much I hate when photographers, and it's usually it's like the not the super new photographers, but not the guys that have been doing it for a while. They're like, don't shoot for free, never shoot for free. And it's like, well, what you just said is like, okay, that might have been you didn't shoot for a paycheck, but you didn't shoot for free or for nothing, right?
Right. For
The real thing is like, don't shoot for nothing. But doing a spec job like that, right, where yeah, you might buy the meal, might cost you money. But if you don't have a
right.
portfolio, like that's step one is you need to build a portfolio for
Right.
whatever genre you're looking to then pitch in and hoping to get paychecks from. So step one
Exactly.
is yeah, you might actually pay to shoot. Actually, you know what? I won this contest like shit, it was like 8 years ago when Sports Illustrated was still like kind of cool. And I got to go out on a shoot with them. And
Nice.
I was hanging out with Yusai. You know what I'm talking about? Asian photographer. He was on America's Next Top Model. He was like Tyra's like wingman on the show, and he would be the photographer for a lot of the shoots. Anyways, but he's like I guess a celebrity photographer, and he was shooting for Sports Illustrated the year that I got to
Yeah.
basically go on like a ride along. And he was telling me that on his when his studio is not booked, he has his crew reaching out to all these magazines, and he's setting up shoots for these magazines that he's paying to get in, right? So on his time off, he's paying and producing shoots to go in these big magazines so that he can then show off over here on his website and Instagram and to his other pitches that, oh, look, I just shot
Right.
for Harper's Bazaar or whatever. They don't know that he paid for it and he had to like have his team hunt it down. It's not, no one
Right.
fucking knows. And that's actually even when I think of sometimes, I have model friends that are like, I don't really feel like doing that job, or no, I don't want to do. I'm like, well, did you not have another, like, did you have some other job that day that was, well, why don't you just do it? Because I get that there's a certain level when you're at a certain point that if you're always busy, like, yeah, you do what you're worth. But I see a lot of people that are in the beginning stages that just because they got paid this much last week and now they're getting offered something here, it's like, okay, well, I mean, if you're like rolling in dough and it's just like annoys you, don't do it. But if you're not, which I can see you're not, and you have time, which I can see you have the free time,
Right.
go fucking get the experience and a little check and a little this and that, right? Like I
And the network, man, and the network, and the
yes,
new little
yes,
avenue of a
yes.
network.
Yeah.
It's there. I think people struggle with, when it comes to things like portraiture, for example, which obviously, you shoot a ton of the swimwear related type of stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you primarily shoot now that you don't show off? Because I know I don't show any of the stuff that I do with real estate and food on Instagram.
Not really, no. I've recently shot a couple events for a friend of mine that does all the events for like Opali. So like they get
Okay.
like 10 models together and do like a lunch,
Right.
and she's hired me to shoot a couple of these events. And I shot everything in the first years of like weddings. I
Yeah.
shot probably 20 weddings, and I would shoot cars and jewelry or whatever fucking Christmas
Right.
card my friends, and his wife and their dog, and whatever it was, I would get hired to do. But like now, no, I've been pretty, busy with just my thing. But like, I'm the same way. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, fuck, I don't have anything going on Monday night. Yeah, I'll shoot that event for you. Like,
Sure.
sounds cool. I'm actually assisting my buddy who has been my main assistant for the last several years, who came to
Yeah.
me with a resume and we met at a coffee shop and he wanted to assist me and I let him. Well, that was shit 10 years ago. And he's assisted me throughout the years. And I told him, I was like, dude, if you ever need an assistant, like because he'll ask me sometimes, hey, do you have anybody that can help me out? And it's like, dude, I'll fucking do
Right.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm assisting him tomorrow. And I'm like, dude, you pay me better than I pay you.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah,
There's nothing
and
wrong with that.
it's cool. And actually, like I know the models that are going to be on the set tomorrow, and like one of them I've hired for my workshop, and
Yeah. It's gonna be a
so,
good time then. It's gonna be
yeah,
easy.
it's gonna be fun, easy. I'm like, dude, I like to sometimes just be on it's like the little sidecar in the motorcycle. Like I don't want
Yes,
to.
dude.
Yeah, it's like nice to
Yes.
let my brain rest, and you just tell me what to do for a day. I'm like, I don't
Exactly.
care. Yeah. So,
The,
anyways, yeah.
The reason I was going to mention that though is because like a lot of time people think of portraiture or portraits or whether it's swimwear or whatever it is, and they get so focused on the idea of shooting one person. So I think one thing I would say, man, is that the you can span so many different things with the idea of portraiture, because now there's a huge lifestyle behind the scenes kind of thing.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is stuff you can get paid for by just reaching out to the right people. So you don't have to like shoot the primary campaign. You can be on a movie set shooting BTS and getting
Right.
amazing angles of whatever it is. That's still your portraiture kind of stuff. You can create lifestyle documentary type of stuff and create your own scenes and whatever you want, and that's still in your same like wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of ways to not just work with, a model with 1 million followers and,
Right.
try to put them in some scandalous outfit to try to create engagement. It doesn't have to be like that. There's so many ways to expand this
Yeah.
out. Like, for example, lifestyle photography for restaurants. I'm regularly working with influencers who are getting free food that the restaurant is bringing in, but I'm getting hired to shoot them enjoying their time. And I'm directing these scenes. They're cheersing. We're having fake birthdays.
Yeah.
Like, these are all things that we're creating. And it's still in my same wheelhouse. And it's, by the way, dude, and now it's even moving into video, which is a whole other level of income that you can make on top of the photography that you're already
Right.
doing. So it's
Yeah.
just nuts, man. There's
Yeah.
a ton of opportunity in
Yeah.
all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually just had this conversation with a pretty new starting out photographer. It was actually funny how we met. I was at my gym and I saw this dude in there like doing some little videos and things. And then I just happened to say, "Hey, do you mind if I work in next to you here?" And he goes, "Hey, could you do me a favor? Could you just like to hold my camera for a second?" And he doesn't know I'm a photographer or whatever. And then he came over. He's like,
Yeah,
he goes, "No,
yeah.
I don't like this. Can you do the angle lower?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like direct. I think I got it.
Oh
He's
man,
like,
I mean, I love it.
he's like, no, no. He goes, do it a little lower or whatever. So I was like, all right. I got this guy at the gym telling me how to take a photo. And at the end, I go,
That's
by the
cool,
way,
man.
I actually am a photographer. He goes, oh, really? And then, and he got my Instagram, and then like, it kind of shifted, and then
Sure,
he
sure.
hired me, and now he's kind of I'm mentoring him a little bit, and he just came by.
That's cool.
I lent him some swimsuits so he can bring him to a shoot. But I had a whole sit down and I was like, listen, man, don't get so stuck on this idea of like swimwear models and as your future job, right? I know
Sure.
that's where he wants to like. I'm like, you need to just try a little bit of everything. Like you haven't
Right.
even done the discovery phase yet. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
part of the discovery phase might be that like, hey, you really enjoy this, but no one will pay you to do it. Or
Right.
people will pay you to do this, but you hate doing it. And it's
Right.
like finding the thing where there's this nice intersection of like, I enjoy doing it, the world needs it, and people will pay for it. And then
Yep,
that's like the
exactly.
beautiful spot to hit, And that could be like cars. It could be whatever it is, shooting something that you like, and yes, it's easy to all of us guys, we like beautiful women. Like that's like a no-brainer, but it's not the only thing you like, and it's not the only thing you'll enjoy shooting, and it's not the only thing that's gonna make money. In fact, the hard part is there's a lot of people doing it for nothing because it's just fun. So you're
Yeah,
competing with
absolutely.
that. So
Yeah.
it's
And that's a big reason, man, that I steer clear from like the social media type of shoots, because the majority of those individuals, as you probably know, are looking for cheap to free shoots
yeah,
because they're always creating that for themselves anyways through their friends that they work travel around with. Like that's normal for them, is to create this kind of work. So there are the few and far in between where I go, hey, I really love your work. You will travel to me and you'll come here and shoot with me. Great. How much does that cost? Like that happens regularly. But the big budgets, bro, like the full day rates, that's not a single person asking you to
right,
shoot them in a couple pieces of swimwear.
exactly,
The full day rates are coming from, I'll give you an example, Soybean Farmers of America. Like that's a project that like I was doing over 3 days, full day rates, shooting a family in their soybean farm, creating
yeah,
GMO soybeans, man. Like, and it's portraiture. It's still lifestyle
yes,
portraiture stuff, but I'm
yes,
shooting old individuals who have been killing their pigs next door and then, fertilizing their soybeans and testing with like a scientist. Like that's the stuff that I'm creating and getting paid every single minute very, very nicely, and getting flown out and put in a hotel for, because they know I know how to light and shoot with people. Like
yeah.
that's marketing agency budgets. That's we know you need to get paid for that. And you have to get paid for the photos that we're going to use in campaigns or ads because we need the rights to those photos. Like they already know all this stuff. It's
Yeah.
written all in contracts. You're getting paid immediately, half
Yeah.
deposits. Like it's nuts. It's so awesome to like get out of the mix of some of this other stuff and jump into that. But there's so many ways you can push
Right.
it.
One of my buddies is an incredible video director, cinematographer, and
Cool.
and I think during this is my friend Ray K. Did you ever meet Ray?
I don't know, man. I'll have
No.
to look.
He's from Norway originally, but then he was living in like I think in 20 like kind of between 25 or sorry 2005 and 2010. He was like the go-to guy for music videos. So he shot like Lady Gaga and Beyonce's music videos and Justin Bieber and Britney Spears
Cool.
and all the like every big person hired him to
Yeah,
do their
yeah.
videos. But what I found was interesting, not surprising, I guess. He's like, yeah, they don't pay well to do videos. Like that's not like that's the resume piece, you know. He goes, but on the other hand, my big clients like some aluminum manufacturer, the biggest aluminum manufacturer in Europe or something. And they need a corporate commercial like that, some random ass shit that
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
sound cool at all, but is gonna
Right.
like pay amazingly well.
Right.
And that's the thing I like kind of try to remind the people that are trying to do it for a living is like, look at sometimes the cool jobs are going to be like the good paying jobs are not going to necessarily be the cool ones. The cool ones are going to be like that's your soul food, you know, like, yeah, you got to feed the soul once in a while and like do something
Yep.
for you, you know, like
Yeah.
that's important too. And you're still sharpening your knife while you're doing that, you know.
Right.
So it is important, and you're reminding yourself that like you just like, you know, shooting and whatnot, but go, you know, don't get too caught up in, like you said, it's like the Instagram arena where it's like all shiny objects. Like that's that is kind of like the crack of photography, you know.
Yeah, and I will say this too, man. There are opportunities to find these individuals. Like creating small businesses now is like such a big thing that there's these individuals who, you know, pretty individuals or just individuals who, you know, are always shooting themselves or have their own pages about them, models, swimwear, men's fitness, whatever it is. They're creating businesses where they need real deal content. So you have to think about that too. You can pitch these individuals based on what kind of stuff they are building up in their own entrepreneurial like atmosphere. That includes things like, you know, these like super you know, depth minimum aperture kind of stuff, dance videos for TikTok. That includes, you
Yeah.
know, you going out there and really having the equipment to provide them with these really unique atmospheres. But the men's fitness arena, bro, there's so many opportunities to create engaging, amazing film and photos that people aren't really used to
Yes.
seeing instead of them filming on their phones. There's lots of women that are creating their own small businesses, whether it's eyelash businesses, whether it's, you know, protein businesses, whatever it is,
Yeah.
food related stuff, dude, they need that content. And those are retainery level stuff, by the way. I've seen a lot of my photographer friends be hired directly by them as constant shooters for those arenas.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool to see too, man. So it's all about how you shift your mind and all about how you think about working with these individuals in things that need to be paid for, not things that could possibly just be shot with an iPhone or, you know, something quick and easy. It's more about in-depth creative direction and creating campaigns over the course of a month and all kinds of cool stuff.
What advice would you give to somebody how to find those people?
I mean, they're all over Instagram too, but though if you're searching for those individuals, you can look in their bio and they literally tell you, you know, they're making their own swimwear, they're
Right.
making
Yeah.
their own, you know, whatever it is, the eyelash companies. Like I've had lots of individuals go, "Hey Danny, I don't need anything of me, but I really want to try to create campaigns around my new thing that I'm building, whether it's an Amazon product they're coming up with, anything that they have in mind that they have built up their own business for. Eyeglasses. Like there's a girl who just did sunglasses that have like 3 clip-on things, which we've seen in the past in the 90s, but
Yeah.
she's building that up now. Like stuff like that requires some extra effort that in most cases, like I've seen, requires money. And so there's really no question about, is this a paid project or not? It's, hey, let me help you and here's how I can provide value for you.
Right.
So, but I will say, man, that marketing agencies across all the industries are really where my big budget stuff comes from, and they find me through my website. They're
Yeah.
literally searching on Google. They're not searching on Instagram. They're not searching on social media or
Right.
Threads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're
Have you ever?
searching for Miami photographer or San Antonio photographer or whatever it is, and they're calling every person or emailing every person, and usually the first person that writes them back with a decent budget gets the job. Like that's what
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Yeah. Have you ever gone down the avenue or even considered having an agent that, like an artist
Yeah.
agent working for you? What were,
I've
what
I've
were your thoughts on that?
I've always thought that it would be a smart move to continue to build up those budgets, right? Get the jobs that I don't have access to or that nobody's looking at me for.
Right.
Having that inside agent who works with these companies all the time and goes, "Hey, I happen to have somebody like that you need. Let's call Danny up and see what the rate will be." So I've always thought of that, man, and I've always like screenshotted agents or agency groups and said, "Okay, I need to write these people. I need to write these people." But then I'm so busy doing the stuff that I'm already doing. I think to myself, do I really need that? And I've
Yeah.
always kind of like been in the middle of it. I actually just wrote a company today that's out of Miami and New York that I saw Richard Gowdy working with.
Okay.
And so I wrote them and I was like, hey, I would love to find out more if we're a fit and what kind of projects you think my body of work would help that kind of thing, seeing what value they saw in me and seeing how that might be something where, for example, if Richard Gowdy is taking these higher level projects, the ones that maybe they're not giving him, do I fit in that mold or in a whole different range of stuff he doesn't shoot?
Yeah.
Just to see, man, just to kind of
Right.
see, because
Yeah.
I don't know how to work.
Yeah. That's smart. Somebody
What
asked
about
who.
you?
Oh, as far as agent, no,
Yeah,
I have same thing. It's like I've thought about it here and there, and then but was busy enough to not really feel like I
yeah,
had the motivation to go down that road. But I have friends that do that, and yeah, it's like you said, you would get access to client levels that you just couldn't do as an individual. They're not like Nike is not out looking on Google. They're like going to their marketing agency, their
right.
local one for like of,
Yeah.
and then those people are like the headhunters and they so yeah, that
Are
would
they happy?
be
Are those friends of yours happy? Do they talk bad about it or good about it? Do they say anything?
well, I have one photographer friend, but I haven't talked to him in a while. We used to be just closer back in the day, and he was always busy. I mean, he was shooting big projects and campaigns and seemed to be working out. So, but I guess I never really got enough inside story on that to know, like I was just looking on Lindsay Adler's website the other day, and because I was kind of curious about her workshop stuff as I'm sort of ready to launch mine again,
Right.
and it looks like she's got like if you want to hire her, you reach out to her rep or something like that, so
Gotcha.
which is cool. That I guess that would just mean that like she probably has her house accounts. Well, just like a lot of people, like they'll have their house accounts. Like you can't touch that. These are the clients I've had for a long time. But when you bring in people, you get your percentage and blah blah blah. I think the idea is like it's not like flipping the switch and then you're no longer, you're not then completely dependent on them and what they get for you. So you would still be doing your thing, but they would be helping you out. So I have a syndication agent that I've had for years. I wonder if you have. Do you work with a syndication agent that used to like get you in?
No, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I would love to
Okay,
hear more about that.
okay. So, but it's funny because years ago, I mean, I probably was put in touch with her. I don't know. I would say 8 to 10 years ago, and it used to be, hey Joey, the Sun in Great Britain is doing a thing about this girl that you shot. Can we get approval to run these in an editorial to all positive, blah, blah, blah,
Gotcha.
So, anyways, she used to find me places where things would get printed. And then like every once in a while, cool, I made $1,000 here, $500 here,
Sure.
whatever, which was stuff I already shot. Right.
Yeah.
So, and then print started dying, and then her business shifted into now they go after copyright infringements. So now I get emails, hey Joey, this because they're so basically what I've done is I've handed them off all of my edits essentially. Like she has access
Right.
to my Dropbox where everything that I've edited, which then I
Right.
send to the models, like she uses those to scan the web.
Gotcha.
and then is finding infringements and then sending me like she used to send me a lot, and I'm like, hey, I'm like, for how like it's like 1 in 100 gets something, right? But for how
Right.
not often it actually goes through, I'm like, can you just like bundle these up into like a weekly email? So that's what I started doing, and then I just look at it and go, yeah, it's not approved. Go after it, right? And then
Gotcha.
if she wins a case, I get 50%. So all I have to do is once in a while look and just say, oh no, that was for that brand. That one's good. These are not approved. Or that girl paid for it, so she probably pushed that into that article.
Gotcha.
And then, but like I just the other day got like $1,400 on one of those.
Yeah.
So that you get a little happy email once in a while
Yeah, for
for
sure. That makes
for
sense
stuff
now.
you've already done. So
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. And right now they're going after some bigger one that I have to chip in like $1,000 for the legal fees. Usually it's like there is no fees. It's just if they win, I get half. Well, this one's like a
Sure.
bigger one, but it could be like a 6-figure thing. So
Right.
I might spend $1,000, but I maybe make 50 grand or something. I don't know. Fingers crossed, right?
Good luck,
But
man.
yeah,
Good
yeah,
luck.
yeah. That's my dream. Is somebody uses one of my photos like like
That's your dream.
yeah. My dream job is a major copyright infringement. Uh,
I mean, the point about that too, though, is that I think I've noticed a lot of photographers don't realize this, and it's what I mentioned a little earlier about rights usage, right? So a lot of these bigger campaigns, no matter what kind of industry they're in,
yeah,
we're negotiating and building into the contract if they want to use the photos outside of what they were originally paid for, like advertising campaigns, national commercials, international commercials, advertising through even Meta or whatever it is, or like even printing and using in like vendor booths, like Chevy did that. I worked with Chevy on a project where they were doing a magazine for Chevy owners that they push
yeah,
out through all Chevy owners. That magazine has a bunch of really cool editorial things in it from all over the region. And they hired me because I was in Texas near New Braunfels, where there was a old football coach that worked for a high school that had a really old Chevy blue truck, like old school 59 something truck. And they hired me to shoot the photos. But part of the contract was, hey, by the way, if the photos are good and we want to use some of them for our vendor booths at some of our shows and conferences, and if we want to use this for advertising, what would be your rate to have the ability to have unlimited rights usage to use it for those purposes?
yep,
And so, I have to come up with a cost per year and a cost if they want to use it over multiple years. And that's on top of whatever it costs for me to be paid my hourly to go shoot this person. You know what I
yep,
mean? So stuff like that people don't realize, and a lot of companies get away with not telling you about it. But that's how I learned about that years and years ago, is because they were like, hey Danny, by the way, we need to go over this because we don't want to get in trouble later on.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah, sure, let me I've done this plenty of times, let me give you a
yep,
number. Like, you know
yep,
what I mean? Fake it
yeah.
till you make it a little bit there. But that was my great first intro to that, and realizing a lot of the places that money can be made on the work that you're doing.
Actually, so a thing that I do sometimes is, let's say, the client tells me this is what we need, and I give them my quote, right? And I always put the rights, I kind of bump up the usage rights to like, something pretty, like you can kind of do what you want with it. Knowing that, like, let's say for a brand, they're not going to use it after a year, right? So
Right.
I guess this is like a little bit of a different way to keep usage rights in mind when you are bidding on a job. Is okay, let's say the reality is like, yeah, if you're this is for your fall line or whatever it is now, you're not really actually going to post. So I'll give you unlimited, perpetual rights to it, right? And then if they're like, oh, we can't really afford it, da da da, then you have some negotiating room to take something away, because you can't just
Yeah.
say, well, all right, fine, I'll do it for this. Because then it sounds like you just pulled the number out of your ass in the first place, right?
Right.
And you're like,
Right.
just hope. But it's like, okay, well, listen, how about this? I gave you unlimited usage. Why don't we make it 1 year? And then I'll take the price down to this, right? So you can use it as a lever in your negotiating.
Yeah.
And especially when you know that there is a shelf life on the content anyways. So you can kind of go in both directions with it. You could also pitch where you start out, here's my thing, but I'm only giving you a year in this. It's like, oh, well, no, we need this for
Exactly.
All right, well, then it's going to cost this. And now you have the upgrade package option. So,
And those are all normal little things, man, that I think people don't realize. Like it's just, and you don't realize those things till somebody tells you, till you hear it on
right.
a live like this, or till you get encounter it with a company that has already dealt with it in the past, and they have to pull it into the situation or into the negotiation. So,
Yeah.
all great advice, man, and little tweaks and ways that you can help to find out what the budget should be, understand how to build yourself up to a higher budget, be more confident with what you're pricing stuff at. Like all those things happen over time. And hopefully stuff like this, like what we're talking about now, helps people realize that ahead of time.
Yeah.
There was a question on Instagram over there, by the way.
Banzo Shard says, I made my money the old fashioned way. I got run over by Lexus. That's actually good advice. If maybe a good advice is if things are going really well with photography, do more shoots out in the streets and
In the middle of the streets.
and like in really wealthy neighborhoods so you can get hit by nice cars. You want to get hit by a Lamborghini. You want to shoot in downtown Miami and you want to see that lime green Lamborghini coming.
Exactly, on Ocean Drive, on the crosswalk.
And fall out in front of it.
On the crosswalk. Be in the crosswalk so you're in, so it's in favor of you.
Yes. Yeah. Now under your outfit, you're gonna wear baggy clothes with like hockey pads underneath. Okay.
Joe, you sound like you've done this before, man. You thought about this.
I've been thinking about it.
There was a question on here, man. Red Panda Visuals. Do you see it on Instagram?
No. What is it? Can you read it?
As a photographer, there are various aspects of profession that require attention and time. One must not only capture compelling photographs, but also invest time in editing and travel. And so he asks, as a photographer, how do you balance editing, traveling, networking, and other tasks?
So yeah, that's a time management question. And I think well, I guess you start to, as you get more experience, you become more realistic to what you can get done in a certain amount of time, right? And like, so for me, and even not even just time, maybe you can get it all done and then you're stressed out and then you're hating it and you're getting burnt out and now you're hating,
True.
right?
True.
So finding the balance of, okay, like how much I can do to pay my bills, but to also not go completely insane, to not wear myself thin. I'm sleeping, like I want to sleep 8 hours, you know? So, and don't get me wrong, sometimes you just got to eat a shit sandwich. You get a busy ass week, like take it, right?
Right.
But I do try to push, if let's say I have a client that books me for a campaign for a couple days, and then there's like some model that wants to book me for a test, and then another thing. And like, well, I'll see if I can move some people around so I have a little cushion. I actually set it up. I use Calendly, which I love, and I make it so that like you can't, or if I book a shoot, what I instantly do on my camera is I add this, like I'll just move them because I have a bunch of them and it just says admin day and it's like takes up the whole day. So I'll just stick one in front of and after the shoot so that now no one can book me the day before or day after that shoot. But if somebody says, hey, I looked at your calendar, there's nothing available, at least I can go back and be like, all right, let me see where I can shuffle something around or make an adjustment.
Right. You know, make that decision. Not
exactly.
them.
Exactly. Yes. So I would never have like some calendar on my website where people can just go ahead and book me. In fact, so I need to be able to know that, okay, this person is interested in booking me. I already, in my intake form, saw the date range and I'm looking ahead and I'm like, all right, oh shit, I have this camping trip I'm coming up. I'm like, well, I'm not going to want to shoot the day after I get back. So like I'll block off that day. I'm just more realistic with, and actually I'm losing a job because of that trip, but I already committed to it and I'm not going to stress that like I like, God forbid it. Well, it's a model that comes to Miami every once in a while. And if she doesn't get to shoot with me this time, she'll just probably hire me in 2 months when she comes back.
True.
So I'm not going to like kill my, well, you know what? Maybe I could get back that day and then shoot. Like, I just don't go nuts.
I've done that.
I used to. Yeah. I used to be a yes man to everything. But then I realized what I would do is I would always bite off more than I can chew. I would end up over promising and under delivering. I wouldn't show up 100% if I didn't take a little better, more realistic approach to my time management, which I'm
Right.
way better at now. Like that's now not really an issue, but yeah, I think it's just everybody's is going to be different. When you're new and if you're new and broke, so it means you're getting lower paying jobs and you need money, then sorry, you're going to kill yourself. Like that's what I did for a long time. I had two jobs.
Been there. Been
I
there. Yep.
I did my graphic design job from Monday through Friday. I was working for KPMG, and then I was getting heavily into photography. So I was shooting on the weekends, editing at night on the weekdays. I literally slept 3-4 hours a night on average, and then I would sleep an hour under my desk at work just to get one more hour because I was exhausted all the
Sure.
time. And
Yeah.
and that was my life for like 3 years until I started I was showing up to work late because I was shooting so much and I was editing, and then I'm like behind on my edits, and then finally I quit my job. But
But that's the shift. You
yeah,
made the shift. You found the middle point. You shifted.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I ate the shit sandwich for a little while, and I think people need to. By the way, if you're not, it doesn't feel like a shit sandwich when you really love it anyway. So it's not that bad, and I think that's the thing is when you get to a point you're doing something that maybe like it sounds exhausting to somebody else, but you're fired up about it. Then that's cool. That says something about whatever it is you're doing. Like you must really love it.
Right. And one thing I've learned, man, because I teach a lot of people, right? So like with me, which I think is a little bit different from you, you do a lot of group related workshops, right? Like your big thing is like, let's bring a group in.
I do my
and teach
one
them.
per year. Yeah, I do the annual one. That's the one I'm about to launch. But I'm going to start doing more of the experience type of things where I'm like setting up a shoot and I put it all
Sure.
together. It's turnkey, and then you pay to come in and do the fun
Oh, I
part.
like that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So I've been doing a lot of one-to-ones like literally every week for about 4 years, 5 years.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
I fly to people. People will pay me to, and by the way, I don't charge for flights because I get to fly for free on Southwest because of all the damn points I have.
Oh damn.
So like what I do is I fly to them. They pay me their hourly rate for the amount of hours we're going to work together, and I teach them in person in their city. And so one of the
Do
things
you
that
bring?
I've learned,
What do you teach it? Like, are you supposed to have a model there on the shoot or something? Like,
usually it's for a model, but I teach all the different industries I shoot. So it might be real estate,
okay,
it might be portraiture. Usually it's off-camera flash. People want to learn how to not have off-camera flash be so intimidating. So I'm
right.
teaching them how to direct and pose and work with a person and light. That's
Okay.
pretty much where like a big bread and butter for a lot of the workshops. But one of the things that I've noticed, man, and it goes back to what you were just talking about with a newer person, one of the reasons that a lot of newer people don't seem to have that time management down is because they're overworking themselves for the lower budget. So what I find them doing is they will overpromise or they'll give a ton of work, hoping that that tells the client to choose them.
Oh yeah.
Because they're nervous about the amount of
Right.
money they're charging, even though the amount of money they're charging is not a lot. So that just starts to compile into overworking yourself, not having
Yeah.
enough money to feel like your value, but you're not confident enough to lower the amount of work you're giving back.
And they
That's a big
treat you
sign.
cheap. You're it's stuck. It's very hard to ask for more when you've stuck yourself in at a low rate to begin with.
Right.
Unless you
Right.
unless you specifically say, hey, listen, maybe you pitched a quote that was up here and you go, you know what, look I really want to work with you guys and I think there could be a long-term relationship here. So how about this? This will be like we'll give you a first time discount, right? And we'll do it for this, but I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I think you'll love working with me and I think you'll want to pay me that rate that I asked for, which is my normal rate. I'm not, trying to bend you over or anything, but let's do this just to work together. But you're setting a boundary up front that like, this is a try before you buy kind of thing or whatever it is. And then we go forward. Like I did this with an agency once. I said, they go, hey, we're interested in having you do some paid testing for us. And I gave them my rates. They're like, well, this is a little out of our budget because we're paying this guy this. I go, how about this? Let's set up a little day. I'll come in. Let's do a casting because at least at the very end, you'll get some content. I'll get some content, but I'm going to get content that I want. So
Right.
I'm going to pick the models, but I also don't want to just shoot one model and give you a free test. So it'd be more beneficial if maybe I shot like 4 models. So how about this? We'll do a test day. I went into their office. They had like 10 girls show up, just do a little quick hello, like a casting.
Right.
Then I told the agency, okay, these 4 I want to work with. And then I shot all 4 of them like a little mini, it was like Costco, like sample, And I gave them the sampler of each girl. So instead of like,
Right.
here's my full test package, here's 10 images. It's like, here's 4 images of each girl. Cool. That gave
Right.
me this nice little variety of content in one day that they scheduled. They made sure the girls showed up and
Right.
And then, so I did this little test run and they were like, cool, which they got to meet me in person through this process. They got to see how
That's a big
quickly
part.
I turn over images. They got to hear the models come back and say, hey, we really liked working with Joey. Oh, it was fun, blah, 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 right? If everything was good, then now that price I gave them before, they're like, okay, cool. And that's what happened. Then I ended up doing exactly what I asked for in the beginning that they said no to. I did this little like test run and then locked them in.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, I always
that's a
would
pretty
start with
normal
that
way.
conversation. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
This is a
that's a
test
pretty
run.
normal way to do it. I feel like it's smart to go that route. And by the way, if anybody ever is not okay with my day rate or my half day rate or my hourly rate based on how I'm pitching it or what they're looking for, I don't come down just to come down. I come down with the amount of work and come down on the price. I go,
Yes,
hey, look,
you have to pull something
obviously,
back. Yeah,
yeah, maybe this isn't, maybe we don't need to go that far, maybe, which is so much what you did. Let's just do a
yeah,
little snippet. Let's do a little tester, a little tease. And there's many ways to kind of put that out there and go, hey, look, this is my rate. But if we can maybe cut down on some of the, or maybe be more efficient or cut down on the amount of people or do less work or provide less deliverables, then the price can be this. And so that starts to get you in front of them. The same story you just told, right? Happens in so
yep,
many ways. So very smart, man. But I've noticed that a lot of newer photographers don't think that way. And so they just go, oh, well, I really want to work with you. Maybe I can just, give you more and do less, or give you
yeah,
more and get paid less. And then you're putting yourself into this situation, this tornado of like, can I really do this? And am I paying my bills? And is this really working for me? And you're stressing out and not sleeping. And
yeah,
that's where the time management comes in, because you're not valuing yourself enough. You're not confident enough to give yourself, the money you should be getting for the amount of work that normal people are getting paid for. So it's an interesting thing, man. And what I have noticed too is some of the more confident individuals that aren't that great at what they're doing are getting paid
oh
more than
hell
the
yeah,
people.
dude. The
It's that whole
better,
flip.
the guy with the better sales pitch and confidence and story or whatever. It's like in the art world. It's
Yep.
there's badass artists that nobody knows about because they're
Yep.
introverts and they don't sell themselves. And then there's the guy
Right.
that's just a big mouth and he's got the gift of gab. His art is shit, but he's got a good story behind it and he's killing
Right.
it. That
It's it
sales
it's
will
important to
win
have a little
over
bit of all of
art.
that.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Entrepreneurial sales is all a big thing, and that's where that pitch comes in. By the way, that's why I like pitching over email, because a lot of the people I talk to that are newer photographers or people that don't know how to do that are introverts and they don't like talking in person.
Yes.
So it's a great cold email, but I treat the emails more as like a rapport building thing where I like, for example, if I was pitching a restaurant and I frequent a coffee shop and I want to pitch for their menu or something, I'll let them know, hey, I was over there last week. Jamila was awesome. She made me an awesome vanilla latte, but I also saw you guys do food and you don't have any photo. Like, then I start
Yeah.
pitching that way.
Yep.
So I talk to them about what I love about what they're doing. In some cases, for like real estate, I've even done stuff where I go, hey, Melissa, I saw your listing on 123 Main Street and I noticed the photos weren't all level, like something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me show you some of the stuff that I do or that I can do for you. And if you ever have opportunities in the future where you think I'm a good fit, it's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think stuff like that is also, I think, what a lot of introverts can use to their advantage versus, trying to talk to somebody in person, making cold calls, like
Yeah.
stuff like that can work. But a lot of people, that creative minds don't work that way from what I've seen.
Yeah. Also, the guys that start out and they're charging cheap, you're going to have to get to a point where, like, yes, maybe just to get in the door, you're going to have to, undercut everybody else and at a point where you almost don't even want to do it again, but like it was something. So at some point you have to start firing those clients,
Yep. Yep.
right? So that's another thing because when you charge cheap, they'll treat you cheap. And they'll be the worst ones that want the most out of you for the littlest in return.
Yeah.
Basically, you're a simp. That's what happens. You become a
Yeah.
simp to the client.
Yes,
You
absolutely,
get
man.
very little return for
And that's in
everything
all
that you
industries,
give.
by the way.
Yeah. Oh
That's in
yeah.
all industries, man. I dealt with that in web development. I dealt with that in computer programming. Like,
Yeah.
there's individuals or companies that want to beat you down on price and tell you that they're going to get you the most business. And those are the ones I'll tell you right now to stop
Yeah.
working with
Yeah.
and give them to somebody else and warn the other people who are willing to deal with that, because
Yeah.
you're not going to enjoy the fact that you took that job. You're going to
Yeah.
regret that you did.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. And that's how that reminds me of just a piece of advice is that if you regret the job, it just means you did not charge enough. Because I promise, if even the worst client you had, if you charge them enough, you'd be smiling, walking away at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
so
for sure.
sometimes I have like the pain in the ass, and you're like, by the way, if they're a pain in the ass from the start in the beginning process, it's only going to get worse like on the shoot, and it's only going to get worse after the shoot, and like it's going to all.
Yeah,
So you better charge really like sometimes I just charge them into extinction, to the point where
yeah,
it's like if
facts.
they said yes, they'd be like, you know what?
Okay,
The headache
cool.
doesn't sound so bad anymore. I'll take the headache for this. Yeah.
But it's a good point too, though, man. Is that and it takes a certain amount of experience or time, but I charge what I want to be paid for the project, and I do a good job of estimating. But I do it to where I'm not scared to lose it. Like I don't give you a price in hopes that I'll get the job. I give you a price knowing that I'll be
Right.
happy working that project and
Yes.
that you will get amazing value for that price. And it's what I'm used to getting paid. If
Yeah.
it's a no because of price, I will attempt to tell you, hey, let's lower the amount of work and make this happen because of this. But if it's still a no,
Then
I
it's just
know
not the right
nothing
fit.
about that.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't care. I don't care about losing the projects. Now, obviously,
Right.
there's people that need to make money that are,
Yes, of
down on
course.
money and and taking jobs. So that's a different category kind of thing.
Yep.
But you need to find the time when you switch out of that and go, okay, I'm making enough to sustain myself. I'm
Yeah.
going to pitch the value that I know I should be. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. And by the way, if you don't get it, my next step is to give it to somebody else who will take it for that price
Yes.
and get commission on that and giving them a job that they wouldn't have had before. I'm their agent now.
Yep.
So now I'm pushing stuff
Absolutely.
out to my friends and stuff. So I think that's a really great way to like tackle the community and help the community, but
Yeah.
also get jobs out at the prices they should be.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see if we have any questions here. Band So Hard said he has done a one-on-one with you and 10 out of 10 would recommend. By the way, if
Bend
somebody
so
wanted to
hard.
do, yeah, on Twitch, Bands So Hard. So I don't know who that is, like the real name. I
Ah,
forget.
gotcha. Gotcha.
But actually, if somebody wanted to book you for a one-on-one, how would they do that?
Yeah, so I just have people reach out to me through any method possible. I get a lot of emails for one-to-ones. I get a lot of DMs for one-to-ones on Instagram because they saw something that I might have done with somebody else, a one-to-one workshop I might have been at, or because, they saw some technique that I was using. So it's real easy to just reach out to me through any of those methods, email, which is on my website, DannyBatista.com, or through DMs on Instagram, which is Danny Batista. But what I have found too, man, this is why I created my digital side of things. So my digital side of workshops is DannyBatista.com/learn. And that's where I'm creating constant digital tutorials because some people can't afford, obviously, the hourly rate for me to fly into them.
Right.
And I couldn't be everywhere at once, even though I literally will try to be everywhere at once and put
Yeah.
myself in a situation. So I've created that side of things too, so that people can easily learn some of the same techniques on the web on their own time. But dude, people learn best hand holding, like right next shoulder to
Yeah.
shoulder. That's the best way to
Yeah.
learn. And period, like literally period. There's no question about that.
I actually just started doing some of these one-on-ones because I had somebody request it. A guy I know was like, "Hey, I want to book you for a one-on-one session before I go to." He was like going to Paradise Challenge or something, so he wanted me
Yeah.
to get him
Yep.
going, and
Fresh.
then
Yep.
yeah, and it went really well. Like what I did is like I hired the model, I sort of set up the game plan. It was like, okay, you're gonna come meet with me for a couple hours. We're gonna talk about your work, where I think you could use improvement. Then you're gonna shoot for a
Right.
couple hours, and then we wrapped up and had a couple hours to chat afterwards. And I
Right.
created a little like package thing, and then I ended up having like I posted a story of it, and then I
Yep.
got 3 more of those
Yep.
like within that month for a couple grand each. And
Yep.
it was, and by the way, they all loved it. Everybody was super happy with it. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. And I wanted to ask you, so when you do those, do you kind of have like a sort of a set plan that you apply to each one of those? Or is it a conversation that has to happen first, figure out what they really want, and then you figure out, okay, well, then we'll do a full day, or like how do you structure that?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a custom curriculum each time with like a generic kind of idea or like workflow, right? So like I mentioned, the majority of individuals are seeing me on Instagram. So what they're probably hiring me for or wanting to learn is going to be off-camera flash or lighting, directing and posing, and working
Yeah.
with an individual in front of their camera. Sometimes that's even somebody bringing me on set and paying me to be on their shoot to help guide them through their own shoot and creative direction they already had. Like that's a pretty cool thing too. I've done that a few different
Okay.
times. But I have an hourly rate, and since I fly to people directly, I'm not doing this locally as much. I fly to people directly in their city around the world, man. So like I don't charge for the flight. What I do is I book out a whole week for a specific city. I let people know I'm coming after that person has already booked me for their time slot, and they have a required minimum hours. So if we're going to be doing a domestic shoot and workshop, it's going to be a 3.5 hour minimum they have to book, and
Right.
that's on a specific day. And then everybody else who wants workshops or shoots, I book out through the rest of the week.
Okay.
So I eat the cost of my flight if for some reason I have to pay for it, but usually it's free because of my points. And then I'm in that city teaching people for that week. And the required minimum curriculum is at 3.5 hours. And then most people will do extra time because they want to do editing, they want to do shooting, they
Right.
want to do some business. And so usually it turns into more of like a 6 to 7 hour day. And we're going over as much as possible in that time frame that they're able to work with me. The workflow is usually we sit down and talk and meet and maybe even do a little bit of recap of some editing so we can get to know each other, be next to each other.
Yeah.
And then we go shoot and then we wrap up again. Because what I've noticed is if you come and meet me in person and you've been trying to meet me in person to do this workshop and we start shooting right away with somebody they don't know, it's a whole mess.
Yeah. It's awkward. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
mess. It's
You
a
need
little
an
bit awkward for
icebreaker
them.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit awkward for them. They're not ready to just jump into that. There needs to be like a little bit of like a cool down period. And so we do a lot of that with our editing kind of restart. And then I also kind of talk to them a little bit, which I've already done before I'm flying there. I already know like the direction they want to go.
Right.
I already know what model I'm going to hire or I'm going to bring, which by the way, man, when you ask the model thing, I fly the model for free too because she comes for free on my Southwest Companion Pass. So
Ah,
we both fly for free and we just show up at the
nice.
place
Yeah.
whenever that is, or I try to hire somebody locally, which I've done a bunch of times too. So, and they're
Is
always hired.
are you doing this on an hourly, like a standard hourly rate that you charge, or does it depend on the job or like what the situation
Yeah, yeah.
is?
It's an hourly rate, so I do 300 an hour, and
Okay.
then we talk about how long it's going to take for them to actually learn what they want to learn. I basically already know if we're going to be rushed or not rushed based on the things they want to learn, and so I give them the time frame it needs to be if they want to learn that stuff. You know, if they want to
Okay.
learn it in this, and so, but that's why the minimum is there. The minimum is there because I know we can't get stuff done in an hour. You can't
Right.
hire me
Yeah,
for an hour.
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I just do $300 an hour base, and then we figure out the time it's going to take, and they decide if that's within their budget.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds awesome, man. I actually am looking to go more in. I love the teaching part of it.
Same.
It's fun. You actually still learn while you're teaching, which is cool.
Yep.
Like you're improving as you go because you're having to re-explain. You, it's like doing your own rehearsal, over and over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
I found that I'm really good at explaining stuff, man, and simplifying stuff. And for me, everything that I'm teaching is so like dumbed down, but not because, the person I'm teaching is a dummy. It's because I want to try to make things clear and easy and not, make everything like I don't talk about 45. I don't bring a protractor out and angle
yeah,
my light at 45-degree angles.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm
Same.
not talking
Yeah.
about like light incidents and different shapes. I'm
Right.
talking about what we can see and how it's affecting things and
Yeah.
actually showing it in person and trying to break it down in easy to understand tidbits. Because, bro, when you spend 6 hours goes by very, very fast
Yeah.
on these things. Like it'll fly by and they'll be like, damn, this is what I paid for. But they learn everything they need to learn in a very short time frame and it turns out amazing. And I
Yeah.
love teaching because I'm watching them go, holy crap, I didn't know my camera could do this. And I'm like, look,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with what you have in your hand. It has everything to do with what we're seeing, how we're using our resources and tools. You did this. You
Yeah.
did this. They're doing it in hours versus waiting years to make it
Yeah.
happen or learning for years. So it's really, really cool. I enjoy it and I love it.
You know what I just thought of? Tell me if you like this idea, because I, I I've structured mine similar, like you said. So I do a 2 hour. I do 2 hours with the photographer where they come here, right? we kind of have little snacks, coffee, and chat. Okay, and we're going over stuff. Now, an hour into that, the model shows up because then she's gonna start trying on some like swimsuits and stuff. So then the
Right.
photographer actually gets to meet the model before we don't just show up and like, okay, now you got to shoot her. So there's
Sure.
that like little like icebreaker period where he also gets to be involved in that process of like, oh, we're gonna pick out outfits now,
Yep.
and then we go together to the beach. Now I demo, I'll show like what we talked about. Now it's your turn, and then I'm over your shoulder and I'm like telling you like, well, why don't you try getting a little lower with this, and why, that kind of stuff, and then work them through it until I sort of like let them fly on their own toward the end. And then we recap and we go have dinner, we sit down and we sort of rehash things. So I've been doing since COVID, I started doing Zoom sessions like one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
And I offer like a little upgrade if you want the recording of it for afterwards, right? And a cool thing that happened in the last 6 months is now they have this like great AI summaries of your Zoom sessions. So at the end of the session, I can even send your AI like a summary of everything we said. And it's like really fucking good. It's like,
Nice.
Joey talked about the blah, 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 blah. And then,
What?
and dude, at the end, it says, here's the takeaways. And like, it's,
What?
it's incredible. Yeah.
This is Zoom. This is a Zoom feature.
Yes, it's AI in Zoom. Yeah. So Zoom has AI companion, right?
Cool.
And there's also AI websites that will take like audio or video and you upload
Yeah.
it, and then it will do the same thing. It'll transcribe it and it'll summarize it, right?
Gotcha.
I was thinking, what'd be a cool idea is I have like one of those DJI mics.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I would just rock that during the whole session, have it recording. Because I don't know about you, but at my workshop, people are like, oh my God, this was all great info. And it's like, I hope I remember this, or I hope it's like a little bit like drinking through a fire hose at times, even when you're breaking it down nicely. So I was thinking, what if I just always record these sessions, right? Because that little battery lasts fucking forever. And and it's small and you let it run. And then you take that audio file, you upload it, and then you give them a transcription of your whole 6-hour session afterwards. Like,
Absolutely.
like you didn't have to take notes, but we got them for you while we did it.
Absolutely, man. And I've recorded my sessions like that, like on a GoPro on my chest.
Okay.
By the way, man, I realize you just got frozen, and I realize what's freezing you.
Oh,
When
shit.
it does the thumb up on your screen,
Oh,
it freezes.
okay.
So maybe reset that camera real quick.
Yeah. Damn. I know you're right.
You got to turn that thumbs up crap off.
Dude, that thing is killing me. Let's see here. Zoom reactions. Oh, that's why. Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah, it was just the thumb. As soon as the thumb came up, you went. You're not black. You just froze.
This happened before. Man, okay, let me see if I can reset this real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever you did with the reset last time, it worked awesome. It's just switching cameras, or I don't know exactly,
Yeah.
or the reset OBS.
Okay, let me try something here. Damn it. It is a thumbs up. Okay, 1 second here. I might just have to go to a backup camera.
Okay. I mean, when you switched out and then came back, it worked like that last time.
Yeah, I know.
Well-
I ended up having to do a handful of things.
Oh, okay.
Shit, hold on. Okay, let's try this. There we go. We're going to the other camera. Screw it. That'll have to do for now.
Yeah, I don't see you just yet. There you go. I got you on the lives on Instagram now. I see
Okay,
the other
we'll just work off of this camera. That's fine. Damn thumbs ups.
and then it lost me, so that I'm no longer on the video on the
Uh,
bottom.
Yeah, it'll come back. There's a delay. I got you back on.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
I see it.
Okay. Sorry, where were we before the thumbs up? got us.
Great question, man. I don't remember.
Okay, well, with that
Oh,
said,
we were talking about teaching. We were talking about teaching and how
oh
awesome it
yes,
was.
yes, yes, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I was just mentioning that I really enjoy it. But there were people on here mentioning some things. Envy Real, both dudes are beasts to work with, work ethic, knowledge, experience, everything. Yeah, so feel the same. That's awesome. And then Chris, Allen, Photo. Haven't had the pleasure to do a one-on-one with Danny, but been a long-time subscriber to his website, and it's been worth every penny. So yeah, man, people are getting a lot of benefit and value out of that stuff, and it's amazing, man, to be able to help them out.
yeah. Nio says, do you ever guard any of the biggest client stuff you do out of fear others will see it and run to the brand and lowball you?
Man, I'm such an open book and such like a trustworthy person that I don't even think about stuff like that. For me, I mean, and a lot of times too, you got to remember some of these brands that you're working with, like for example, Cameron Hammond. Everybody knows what he's shooting. The brands are actually putting his information in the post with his girlfriend or wife that like books all the shoots.
Right.
He's still shooting with all these companies. I mean, you and me could both try to go, hey, I can shoot that stuff for less, or I can do similar kind of stuff in my city or whatever it is. But I highly doubt we're going to take that from him. Like they're so confident in his work and what he does, it's not going to happen. So for me, I would personally say no. I don't try to hide that stuff, and I actually try to bring people into that kind of stuff and give people clients when I'm not going to take the projects.
Yeah.
So that's more of my mentality. I'm not so
I'm
strict with
with
trying to
you.
hide
You're not like Frodo with the ring. My,
Oh, by the
my
way, Sean
little.
Evans here says I've had a one-on-one with Danny and it's well worth the money. That was in Charlotte. We did that a long time ago. But yeah, cool guy, awesome photographer as
Oh, and
well.
it was Keith Chernick that was banned so hard. That
Ah,
said,
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, in Dallas.
yeah. Are you? By the way, I've been horrible at keeping track of the Instagram comments or
That's
questions.
what I'm looking
Do you
at.
want
That's
to
what I
see
was
if
just reading
there's
off of.
see if
That's
there
what I
was
was
anything
reading
in
off.
there?
Yeah, I was reading off of that. So we got very cool idea.
Lewis, are you
Um,
coming to the workshop? I'm about to launch it tomorrow. Is the plan. I'm gonna stay up tonight and not sleep until it's done.
Danny's Southwest referral and the link in the bio says the yeah, man. You guys want that link? I'll give it to you. We both get points. Oh, Nathaniel Edit says, how do you both deal with taxes and deductions? And that's a great question, man. I think a lot of people don't really talk about stuff like that. But for me, everything that I go and shoot and do and pay for my, shoots is tax deductible. So
Yep.
my trips are tax deductible. I'm going to teach people in person. My food when I'm having these meetings and sitting down at these restaurants and talking to these clients or talking to my workshop attendees, tax deductible. And then there's other little things, obviously, like your office deductions, which I use TurboTax for everything, and a small business TurboTax setup. And I've had accountants in the past that haven't been so good, and accountants in the past that have been great. But with a lot
Yeah.
of the stuff that I'm doing now, it's so easy to determine what's my expense, what's my income. And I do everything through QuickBooks Online, by the way. So I have my invoices, I have my all the different categories and what I'm charging for. So my videography, my portrait photography, whatever it is, those are all different services. And in QuickBooks Online, I can see all that stuff. And at the end of the year, it automatically gives me my K2 or any kind of the
Yeah.
forms that I need. And it's really easy to plug in. So the cool thing about doing this kind of work is that literally 99% of the stuff that you're doing to create these projects or traveling to these projects or buying for these projects or the time you're spending and the money you're spending on your electricity and your phone bill and whatever else, all that stuff becomes tax deductions.
Did you know about the tax exemption in Florida for film?
Not necessarily. No, give me some info.
Oh man, you're gonna love this. I'm very happy to pay this one forward because I didn't know about this until a year ago, year and a half ago,
Okay.
which was good
Yeah.
timing because I just upgraded all my studio displays. I just got my new Nikon, new lenses, right? I mean, I did
Okay.
a massive upgrade this last year. I paid zero tax on that stuff.
Hell yeah. Oh,
And
so like
in
sales tax. You pay zero
yes,
sales tax.
sales tax save thousands of dollars. So and you can link it up to your Amazon, to
Okay.
B&H, to Adorama.
Okay.
because they all have these tax exemption programs, like the ability for you to upload your tax exemption document. And in Florida,
Gotcha.
there is a film tax exemption that you can get, and you basically have to apply and tell them the project. So mine is, oh, I'm doing a marketing commercial for my workshop during my workshop. And then I have to
Gotcha.
put like how many dollars are going to be spent and blah, blah, blah. And you just, fill out this little thing, submit it, and then they give you this form, and then you upload that to Amazon, you upload it to B&H, you upload it to all these sites. And then literally now when I'm on Amazon, it's automatically on there. So if I'm buying something personal, it says remove tax exemption. I remove it and okay, I owe you
Gotcha.
$2, but it's by default on now. And like you said,
Yeah.
most of the stuff you're buying is for
Yeah,
work and
absolutely.
whatnot. Then there's certain like things you can't like get hotel rooms tax exempt. They won't like there's
Sure.
so you read the rules, but if like you're buying a lens or a camera or a
Yeah.
computer or anything for your no sales tax.
Dude, send me that info.
It's fucking
Send me that
awesome.
link.
Yeah, it's an incredible link. I'll have to put that in the YouTube video. What I'll do is I'll get this video. I think it automatically goes on YouTube because I'm doing it live,
Live. Yeah,
and
yeah.
that'll stick on there. But what I'll do is probably dump that one in a couple days and take the recording that I've got going, and I'll chop off the front crap and wherever I had some technical difficulty, and then
Yeah, yeah.
I'll properly load it up. I'll send you that the email. In fact, I just had to renew mine, so I had to like redo it again. And I think this is like the
Dude, yeah.
second year I've had it, and it's just a
And it's-
little. No one tells you about it. And my buddy is a film director, and he lives down the street from me, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you're paying taxes?" I'm like, "On that stuff?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, man.
I'm like, "Why didn't we have this conversation 5 years ago?"
Exactly.
So,
dude.
anyways,
Damn it.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. So if you are a Florida resident, that is accessible to you. If you are, and by the way, you could kind of turn whatever project you have coming up into the
Sure.
required type of project.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a good little hidden perk, and I think it must exist throughout different states. So if you're watching this and you're not in Florida, you should probably look up
Yeah,
your
that's something to
state
definitely look
film
into.
tax exemption and see if they have a little website to do that through. But yeah, it's a
Nobody ever mentioned that to me. I've had stuff like that, tax exemptions for like back in the day when I was doing like t-shirt designs. So I would be buying
yeah,
blank t-shirts. I would send in my EIN and show my sales tax, deal for the state of Texas, and I would be exempt from paying sales tax on the blanks for the t-shirts I was buying. But
gotcha.
never had that I've never heard anybody say anything about that from a film standpoint. By the way, 50 millimeter photo says destination shoot this year, guys. Absolutely, always.
I'm down. Yeah,
Yeah,
where
always.
to? Where to?
That's a good
I'm
question.
I'm actually long overdue. I haven't traveled anywhere since I think October. I'm
Is there any
slacking on.
place you're trying to set yourself up for right now that you've been thinking about going to or doing?
Not really. Not in particular. No. I mean, there are some places I would just like to go to, and it will have nothing to do with photography. Like, I would like to go to Japan. I want to
Sure.
go to Thailand. I want to go. I would like to go to Bali, and where I have like my buddy Ray is living there now. I have a couple friends that live there now, and there's like a ton of models. If I went there, I would go and shoot and do content and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, there's no way you can go there, man, and not shoot. Give me a
Yeah,
break.
yeah,
But
that
yeah,
one, yeah, but well, I guess even like Thailand, I would have my camera for sure. But like someplace,
yeah,
I guess I would really bring my camera anywhere I go. But like we did a shoot last year in with 50 millimeter. We went to Colombia to my buddy's place, and like we
yeah,
had models come join us, and some local, some fly out, and a group of
yeah,
photographers. It was cool. So we did that together. But
yeah. Keep
yeah,
me in the loop on that stuff, man.
oh,
I'd be up.
absolutely, dude. You're in the loop now. Yeah, for sure. Any other questions on here? The B&H credit card also refunds the sales tax, also has no annual fee. Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, throw us all your money tips if you I think if we all shared all of our money tips, we could all be rich. If
We'll be rich. I'll be it.
let's get rich, everybody, okay? Tell us.
I will say this isn't necessarily tax related stuff, but I mean, I know that stuff's important for a lot of people, and it's kind of like in the gray area for a lot of people. What ways do you book spaces what are your favorite ways to book spaces, Joey? Like to shoot in?
Um, friends spaces that don't cost.
Okay. I
So
mean, yeah, the freer the better,
connections,
obviously.
yeah, connections are like my biggest go-to. So like, I
Sure.
guess if I had the okay, if I go out to California, like I actually do book my friend's space, but like
Yeah.
I pay him because it's such a good deal anyway. So I don't even ask for a
Sure.
favor. But he just happens to have the most amazing place to stay at out in Glendale. And then I'll
Yeah.
shoot there. And that's the other cool part because he's my buddy. He doesn't give a shit. Like, it's like, make yourself at home, do what you want. And
Right.
so I think for me, the thing I always try to do is I don't want to say take advantage of, but yeah, I
I
do
understand.
like to stay within my network as much as possible. It just makes things easier. And then other than that, like I've through Airbnb, I've never
Yeah.
really used Pairspace to be honest, because I feel like I used to go out to LA and I would find these cool little like boutique old apartments that were kind of done up cool and
Yeah.
just knowing that like okay, I'll stay there. I don't have to shoot there, but I could shoot there.
Right.
And I've done cool content through finding Airbnbs stuff like that. But then
Yeah.
also for me, since I am more swim focused, I'm like looking for where's the nice like beach
Right.
location or some kind of tropical destination, and then it's
Right.
not so important where I'm staying, because I'm not
Yeah.
going to shoot at the property as much. I just need to get close to something cool. So
Right.
I don't know. Do
I got
what would you say about that? Because you're more like you're doing more stuff like indoors lighting and like you're I think have a more versatile overall like portfolio than me.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of on location stuff. I mean, I'm shooting outdoors all times a day. I'm skipping the golden hour times. I'm basically
Yeah.
shooting a lot of like, the very bright, sunny, hard light and dealing with that and working with that. But um, like Peer Space is my go-to, especially in
Really?
LA. Yeah, Peer Space is cheap in LA because there's so much competition. So you're renting
Uh
out warehouses for like $50 to $75 an hour, and it's a
oh
massive
wow.
warehouse full of like 8 locations inside of it. So like I've always had really good luck with that, and there's some really cool outdoor locations too. A lot of people rent out their spaces, but from a pool standpoint, Swimply is a really badass site now that I'm using a lot, and it's like the Peer Space of pools.
What? I've
So
never heard of this. Okay.
I'll send you the link, man. I'll make sure. I think it's called swimply.com or
Okay.
swimly.com. But you basically have access to anybody's pool that it wants to rent it hourly. And so these people aren't using their pools at all hours of the day. So they rent them out for specific hours. It's specifically for like things like pool parties and family
Yeah.
events. But I let them know that I'm coming there specifically to shoot, hardly going to use the pool. And they're like, cool, I don't need anybody's, suntan lotion in my pool. I don't need to clean it
Right.
up. Awesome. So there's some luxurious ass pools, man, that people,
Swimly. Somebody confirmed.
yeah,
Swimly. Yeah. Oh, that sounds
yeah,
awesome.
it's awesome, man. And so I've done a lot of my workshops at pools, like in different locations. And I'm paying $50 an hour to be in their backyard, and like we free to do whatever we want. We don't use it to swim in it. We use it for a
Yeah.
backdrop. We use it for our, how we want to actually create our scenes. But that's a dope one. Airbnb all the time, whatever hotels I'm staying in. If I can find a more eclectic type of hotel that I can use for the
Yeah.
spaces that I want, I'll use that. But like for example, man, here in Florida, that one space that you use in your workshop that has the old white truck in it, outdoor
Yes.
sand, like
Stardust.
bohemian.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like that's a Peer Space. I've seen that on Peer Space.
Is it
So
on there? Yeah.
I thought so, but I mean, obviously stuff like
I'm
this too,
sure
you
it
can trade
is.
out
Yeah.
services and
I think
content
I told
for.
them last year at the workshop, I was like, you guys should be on Peerspace. Like, and I don't know if they were at the time, but maybe they are now. Like, I actually just reached out to them a week ago to book them for my upcoming workshop. So,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
um,
So that's why I asked that question too, was I was wondering, are you, I mean, I do this stuff a lot too. I'll do like trades with Airbnbs for content.
yeah.
Like I'll do trades for studios for content. So I imagined that you were doing something like that if it wasn't going to be an expense that you were actually putting up front for your workshops.
Yeah, no, for my workshops, I just book them.
Yeah.
I reach out and yeah, hey, because all these locations I've shot at before, so I know the
Yeah.
owners from doing client gigs there. And then when I
Right.
reach out, like they're already familiar with me. Like all I had to do was reach out to Little River, be like, hey Alvaro, workshop's coming up. Is it open this date? Cool. Can we do the same
Right.
thing we did last year? Yep. cool. I put
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
That was it, and then I'll pay them on the day of.
yeah, for sure.
Stardust, same thing. They like so that's cool. And then with like even booking the beach, I'm in the system for the permits, and the lady's
Yeah,
familiar with me. Um, I
that's
guess I'm not.
frustrating, man. You don't have any issues with them anymore? Like you can shoot there,
No.
you're a vendor, you go and it's easy.
Well, I if I'm doing it through the proper channel,
Sure.
yeah. But I already have all the paperwork filled out.
Same. But
I'm
still frustrating to do, man. I've
It's
had
oh,
very
it's
little.
like kind of annoying, but yeah, it's not like I don't hit any hurdles. It's never like, hey, well, you can't like. So I know what things to say, and then um, I fill it out the same way. I have all of those forms saved from like the year before. I just update the dates, and
Right.
then cool, send this over to Crandon. Great, okay, he's got it. Joey, we'll see you. Looking forward to having you back. Like, and it's pretty simple now. I
That's
guess I've
nice.
done
Man.
it enough times now that it's not a pain.
Hey, do me a favor. Drop my name next time and say, "Don't give this guy a hard time. Stop giving this guy."
Who's giving you a hard time?
I forgot the girl's name, man. But we were gonna shoot. So I was doing a little commercial project for a realty group, and they wanted to do a pickleball session for like 15 minutes. So I literally need to record, somebody hitting a pickleball over a pickleball net.
Yeah,
And so we scheduled the pickleball court. We went and talked to the people. We have the insurance. We have the names listed for the insurance. We have all this stuff. Who's going to be there? It was going to be no lights, nothing set up except one photographer, me, and three people, an assistant, and the two
yeah.
people hitting the ball. And it was such a hassle for them to try to give us that time for 15 minutes. They couldn't do it. It was too much of a thing. And it was literally the smallest group of people. So it was just so weird.
So I will say this: most like especially a place like Miami, it's not a big film place, so they they don't have a great system, and it's not very scalable. It's sort of like set up for the big projects,
Yeah.
but for like a little thing, it sucks. So that's why if it's little, I just won't even bother with the permit.
That's what I learned. But we were trying to do it
I
right.
know
We were trying to
exactly.
pay. We didn't want people to show up. We didn't want to be an issue. We didn't want to be turned away. It had to get done. And so we ended up using royalty-free imagery,
You need
royalty-free
to
stock photo
treat
video.
small jobs like just cross the border. Just
Yeah.
cross the border.
Fact.
Don't try to go through the process. Don't try to get your visa. Just fucking run across the border.
I learned my
And
lesson. I learned my lesson.
and
Dude, I
I
had it all, man.
better.
My documents were legit. I was
this
ready and like, nope.
this reminds me of my very first shoot out of the country was this trip to Mexico, and man, I tried to do everything by the book, and I
Yeah.
went to the consulate office when I lived in Orlando, and I wrote out all the gear I was bringing and the value and all this shit, and like,
Nope.
dude, then I'm in the airport and they got the dog sniffing me, and then my stuff's all
Joey.
I'm going to jail. I tried to do it right. I'm going to jail. I'm going to Mexican
Dude, I don't tell
jail.
I don't tell anybody anything that I'm doing.
No, no,
Ever,
never
ever,
again. No, I never did again.
ever.
Like, yeah, yeah, it was a bad
Have you
move.
gone to Mexico and had the have you gone to Mexico? I forget which airport it is, man. And had to go through the buzzard thing where it chooses if you're gonna get selected or not.
Oh
It's like a
God.
game show. Dude,
Uh,
it's the most terrifying thing. Like everybody's going into a line and there's like a game show red buzzard. And behind the customs agent is a wall that's either red or green. Like go this way to be checked, go this way to be green. And everybody's going through and pressing the button, and it's like you're chosen
oh
or like not
my
chosen.
God.
It's fucking weird, bro. And so if you're chosen, they're obviously going through all your gear, tallying up the totals. And if you're not chosen, you just walk out. Bro, it's so scary, man. It's so freaking scary to go through that kind of stuff.
What
Canada's the
was
worst. Canada's the worst, by the way.
really? Oh yeah, they're awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
what's your worst travel experience?
Just Canada, man. Canada, like the nicest people past the customs agents. Like the custom
Yes.
agents are there to like fight you every way, step of the way and interrogate you. I drove from Seattle into Canada this was like 6 years ago. But ever since then, it's nonstop battles with Canada border agents. But 6 years ago, we drove through from Seattle to Vancouver because we had connected with models on Instagram to collab with them to shoot in the city. And
Right.
so we go and shoot with them. All awesome, man. Very cool. Having lunch, doing a cool little thing. Then we drive back down from Vancouver into Seattle. And on the way back, they ask you, what you were doing and whatever was going on at the border. And so I'm driving and I'm answering these questions in a way that makes them don't think we were working, because we weren't working. It was all free collaborations. We were just having a good time meeting new people. And the second I mentioned that we were meeting people that we met on Instagram to hang out with, like that kind of thing, it was red flags, dude. Just period red flags. So they pulled us over. They had us get out of the car. They interrogated us inside the building. When we came back out, all our gear was all outside on the
Oh
floor
my
outside of the car.
God.
Just crazy stuff, man. I had to show this dude my Instagram and go, look, man, this is what we do. We're just photographers. We work with individuals. We were just having a good, I didn't say work, but we were shooting and photographing some individuals. They have a really hard time with that, dude. They don't need photographers, is what they say. We don't need other photographers from other countries. You can hire somebody here or figure out. And like, we're not hired. We just met these people. It's called a collaboration.
What's
Like that.
so what
It's so
yeah, what are they protecting up there? Like what is
the jobs of Canadians, it seems like, man, I don't know. It's really weird. I've had friends turned away at the border because they were going to go help their girlfriend shoot a wedding and be an assistant, like stuff, crazy stuff, bro.
Oh my
Crazy stuff.
God. Now says, did you know that if you had a DUI in the USA, Canada will reject you at the border? Yes, I know somebody that's got rejected at the border because of that. They had a DUI on their you know
That
track
sucks,
record.
but
Yeah, they're weird up there. You know, what was a weird airport I went through was in Cuba,
really,
and not for like the reason you think. So the TSA, like, well, I don't know the TSA, but the
right?
the the lady, it was all women that are like
Yeah,
checking
yep.
you through the bag system, and they're all wearing these like tight little like skirts with black fishnet stockings and heels.
I haven't seen that.
It was kind of awesome. It was weird. Like it was strange. It was strange. I was like, wow, this is dictatorship. They like make the fucking women that work for the government like dress sexy. It was kind of bizarre. Like, anyways,
I
but
haven't seen that, man. I haven't seen that. I've been there twice now with Anna, my girlfriend. She's Cuban,
yeah,
so she's taken me every single time, and it's actually one
maybe
of
it
the easier
changed. Maybe
airports I've gone to.
maybe got more laid back and they're not forced to wear like sexy outfits anymore.
Every time I've gone through, it's been older women wearing like white, not surgical outfits, but almost like looks like they are from the 50s or 60s, and they're working a hospital. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, okay. Like the way the
Like pit
Joker, the way
skirts.
the Joker dressed up before he blew up the hospital.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly, bro. So, and by the way, for people who don't know who are watching this, it's actually really easy to go to Cuba. Like, you're not limited from
Yeah,
going to Cuba. It's the craziest thing. You always think that Cuba's like off limits. You can go over there. You go to Fort Lauderdale Airport.
yeah,
You pay $50 for a visa, and you show up and you walk in. That's it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
One
I
of the
did it. It was
easiest
super
places.
easy. We flew a drone and then we got put in jail. It was so
Okay,
easy.
that's not what you should be doing.
Yeah, don't fly a drone there. You will go to jail.
Deval says it's because it's a minimum mandatory jail sentence in Canada. Oh, the DUI for 10 years if you're driving drunk in Canada. Damn.
Wait, what? What is
It's a minimum mandatory jail sentence in Canada of 10 years, and I'm assuming he's talking about drinking and driving under the influence.
10 years? Really? The fuck?
Damn.
That's
Our jail
crazy.
system would be filled with people, bro.
I'd rather I'd rather go to jail in Cuba again. I would
Yo, so wait, time out. So what you flying the drone? You literally
my
did
buddy
your
my buddy's flying the drone on a beach. Like we went to some beach behind some resort and he's flying the
yeah,
drone, which is like a no-no. And I think if you did like an ounce of research, you would find that out online really quick, but he did none. So
immediately. Yeah.
yeah, so all of a sudden like cops are walking up and we're like,
Uh,
all right, what's going on? And anyways, we didn't speak, none of us spoke. It was me, my buddy Matt, and
yeah.
our other friend. And we didn't speak Spanish at all. I would do better now if I was there, but
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the time I was very rusty and
Yeah.
useless, basically. And
Yeah.
they made us come with them, get in our car, follow them, and we're like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then like,
Yeah.
and now it's like nighttime, and we're driving just in pitch black. Like we have no idea where we're going, but there's a cop
Damn.
that's making us follow them. And then we get to the thing, and then we had to like go in, and now we're like sitting in this like in the front of the jail area. We're not allowed to leave. I asked if I could make a, I did. I said, hey, can I grab something out of my car? Because they knew we weren't trying to like run away. We were being very
Right.
cooperative.
Right.
And I asked if I can get water out of my car. And then when I went out there, I called my assistant at the time, who was fluent in Spanish. She said, Lara, I'm in jail in Cuba, but I'm like outside of it right now. But when I
Yeah.
come back in, can you talk to them on the phone? If I put you on the phone and translate, and
Right.
it's like, oh my god, yes, okay. And then I came back. I said, mi amiga está en la
Right.
telefono.
Right. Right.
Anyways, they're like, they asked where is she? I go, in the U.S. She goes, no, like we can't talk to her. And I was like,
What?
so they like wouldn't talk to somebody that's in the U.S.
Yeah.
And anyways, 6 hours later, after like we keep kind of getting moved back into like deeper rooms,
Yeah.
like we're in this kind of interrogation room,
Yeah.
and no one was like being a dick to us. It was actually pretty chill.
Yeah.
But still, for us, I'm like, this is my new home now. Like
Right. Right.
this is my life. This is my new life. I'm like, I'm
Getting used to
accepting.
it.
Yeah, I'm accepting all of like the worst case scenario in my head. It was a pretty long 6 hours. Let's put it that way.
Damn.
And then
But you were
finally,
good. They let you go.
what they ended up doing is we couldn't get any communication done because none of them could speak English. We couldn't speak Spanish. And one of the cops' friend had to come over when he got off his shift from his pizza restaurant on a bicycle and
My
then
God.
translate for us. And then
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
got the translation going, and it's like we showed them what he was filming, and it was just like the water, like because they're like, I
Right.
guess making sure you're not like a spy or something. So,
Right. Right. Yeah.
anyways, yeah, it was just a long drawn. I mean, like I wish I had a cooler reason to have like ended up there in the Cuban jail, but
No, you don't.
nonetheless.
Man, you don't want any. You don't want a reason,
Yeah,
man. That's
I
cool
guess you
enough
actually
that you
you want the
survived your
lamest
drone.
reason because that
Did they keep the drone?
no, we kept it. We kept the memory card, and they said
Oh, cool.
something about they were like, no más, and I was like, don't worry. I was like,
Yeah.
I kill him. Every night, I'm like telling him my buddy is
Perfect.
like, yeah, like blaming it on him.
I kill him for
I
you.
kill, yeah, like I kill him. So, anyways, yeah, it was, and then the very next day, we went spearfishing, and he locked the keys in the car
Nice.
at a remote beach, like far in the rental car. So then I'm like, dude, you got us into this. And last night, I'm like, I'm taking a nap on the beach. You figure it
There
out.
you go.
And no, 2 hours later when I wake up, nothing had happened. We had to find a guy who had a machete, and we were prying the door open with it to get to the
Hell
key.
yeah.
Dude, that trip was an entire blooper reel. And then I got eaten up by sea lice that day. So the next day I'm like covered in bites and like, yeah, it was
But Cuba is in my opinion, man, is like photography heaven. Like the
oh, it is.
backdrops
It
there.
is. Every
The
direction is
backdrops
like
there are
a
amazing.
picture perfect scene. Yeah, it was awesome. I actually want to go back and like do it right.
Yeah.
We were winging it too much, and we didn't know that like you will have like no internet once you're there basically. Like you'll have
Zero.
no we said,
No money.
dude, we're like we'll get our Airbnbs once we're there.
No. You
Poor,
need VPN to like get
horrible.
anything, and then it's not even working. Like God.
Yeah, dude. So then
So bad.
the whole first day is trying to find an internet card to
Right.
buy, and then find an internet hotspot
Right.
randomly somewhere, and then we finally get to the hotspot and we scratch the card to get the number, and then the card was cheap and the number scratched off. So we had to
God.
go back to hunting down another card, and then back to this was all just to find a place to sleep that night. Like
Yep. 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 I
it got
understand, man.
yeah it was a struggle bus the whole time, but that was our fault. It wasn't Cuba's fault. It was a cool place to visit, and I would definitely go back, but I would do it smarter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's a trip we should all do, is a Cuba trip.
That could be interesting, man. I will tell you. When did you go? Was how many years ago was
This
it?
was like 6 years ago.
Okay, so I've been 3 months ago and then 7 months ago, and my girlfriend obviously grew up there and lived there. She's been, 10 times since she left, but it's changed a lot, man. There's a lot less there now. Nobody's really out and about enjoying their lives, having a
Oh,
good time.
really?
It's really,
Oh
yeah.
shit. It's gotten like economy and everything has just gotten even
It's
worse in the
it's gotten
last
worse, and yeah, man, it's gotten
oof.
worse. According to what she's seen over the time, and every time she goes back, it's always a little bit worse. So it's not the greatest thing. I mean, for tourists, you still have access to obviously everywhere you want to go, and you can go to the beaches and do your thing.
Yeah.
But for like the people, it's not as
Oh yeah,
vibrant
it's No, no,
location.
yeah. Well, I think even when we were there, it didn't feel like, we're in a place where everybody's happy and thriving. Like it definitely
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a place that is like while you're there to, maybe kind of explore and be on a trip. It's not a vacation in the sense, it's not like because yeah, you're kind of just you want to just kind of go and just blend in is really
that, yeah,
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 yeah.
absolutely. But
Not
some great
like
culture, man. Some great history. Some really cool things to see that you haven't seen before, and
yeah.
getting accustomed to, man, a whole different lifestyle than what we're seeing here on
Yeah,
our
like slow it's
gigabit
get ready to
internet.
slow everything down basically. That's the theme is like get ready to move from a like 100 mile per hour pace that you do here normally
Yep,
ADD style to there
yep.
it's like one day at a time like and that's it. So yeah.
For me, man, I'm trying to like I've done Japan, but I want to do more of like the coast of Japan. So like I've done Tokyo and stuff. Ridden motorcycles through the city. Like it was more of like a engine head kind of trip with a
Oh,
bunch of guys who
cool.
like cars
Yeah.
and stuff. So we did a lot of like the F1 stuff, and we did a lot of the JDM car museums and stuff. But I would like to go to like Kyoto and like other like coastal areas and like more deep into the cities, or deep into like the forest areas, mountainous areas. So I want to do that. Thailand, Bali. I want to do Australia, man. I've yet to
Yeah.
go to Australia.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
would be
me
amazing.
too. That
Yeah.
one's, I
So,
guess
but
that's the one that's the furthest for all of us here.
exactly, man.
That's
So if
why,
that's a trip where like go for a month and figure out that whole area and stay around Australia, Bali, all those areas
yes.
and be there for a while.
Yeah, while
That's
you're
a
there, yeah, you need to like make the most of it and hop around. And what
and
was,
shoot, man. There's some amazing people
oh,
there to work.
yeah, in the Gold Coast, absolutely. Every time my phone, my feed, like on Instagram shows me some tan fit model perfect on the beach. I'm like, Gold Coast? I'm like, yep, there it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, yeah. It's the prisoner genes out there are strong, It's everybody's built incredible. Actually, one of my best friends is Australian and she's a model slash pro boxer. Like,
Nice.
gets up and runs 10 miles. Like, I'm
Right,
like,
right.
yeah, you're all machines out there. Like it's
I would
definitely
love to
something
create
in the
some
water.
but it's
Yeah.
definitely scary thinking about all the kinds of animals and things that could kill you. So like that's the one thing I always like think about too is like I think about alligators over here, but apparently there's some small ass stuff over there that could destroy you in, minutes. And so I'm
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah, I think if you go and get some good local guidance, you'll steer
Yeah,
clear of
absolutely.
the black mambas and the crazy spiders and shit that'll take you out. Yeah. Was there any place that you ever went to like you went to go shoot or you were excited to go that was kind of a letdown? Did you ever have a place that you would be like, "Hey, listen, this is not all it's chalked up to be?"
There has been, man. And I'm trying to think about what place. Oh, Bahamas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bahamas to me was overhyped, really expensive, beautiful water,
Yep.
amazing water, man. We did some scuba diving, saw a bunch of sharks, like hung out on some, underwater and some wrecks and stuff. But everything else was a total letdown. Like that wasn't the most exciting thing. And the other place, Mykonos.
Yes.
Mykonos, Mykonos is brown everywhere
Yep.
and dilapidated buildings,
Yep.
except for resorts. And then at the resorts, it's all about, hammocks and day beds, not beautiful scenery. So
Right.
like I went to Mykonos going, oh buddy, I'm gonna be finding some cool coves, jumping off some
Yeah.
cliffs, like that kind
No.
of thing. Nope, doesn't
No.
exist. Doesn't
Yeah.
exist. We found one little cove called Lover's Cove, had a cool little restaurant at the top of it, but like aside from that, there it wasn't like an Italian rocky coast. Like that's what I was expecting all over that area.
Yeah.
Um, Crete, though, was a surprise, which was very close. So
Wait, what
Crete was
place? Crete?
Crete, Crete, Crete. So another Grecian island, but that was amazing. That had the cliff top type of stuff. Resorts were beautiful. Hotels, little boutique hotels were amazing. All the little nooks and coves that we found. Light streaking through certain areas and just hitting certain rocks, seeing all the way down to the bottom of the water, like
Yeah.
beautiful teal, emerald colored water. awesome, beautiful stuff. So I will say that's one place I would go back to.
Well, that's cool. I've never even heard of that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little
Yeah, look up
investigating.
Crete, man. Crete is awesome.
And I agree with you on Mykonos, but I went knowing that it was like we're gonna go party there. That was it, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
I
But
was
I
just shoot,
went
man.
to Santorini. Beautiful, like insane.
Yeah,
Santorini is the honeymoon picturesque version of Mykonos. Mykonos
yeah.
is the party, like, it's the degenerate version of Santorini, basically. So
Um, Santorini was awesome, man. We went at the end. We went in October, so it was right after everybody left. So what they were telling us, they were starting to pack up. Like all the restaurants were starting to close down. It was getting close to like the
yeah.
time when they were leaving. And like the months before the summer months, obviously, it was. They say it's wall to wall, like
Oh
everybody is
wow.
side to side, and we didn't
Yes, to go
experience
to go see the sunset. Yeah, at the end of the day, right?
see anything, just to be, even be around like restaurants and stuff. So they were like saying, "Hey,
Ah,
you came at a great time where you can actively go do what you want." It was still busy during sunsets and stuff, but like it was not what they. We had no idea. I had no idea that it was like wall to wall people. Like you can't walk. Like it's just crazy. So we went. We went at that time. It had a really cool luxury like a hotel room with like the whole outside was our pool. We had our own like private pool outside
yeah,
with like stepping stones and stuff. It was really freaking cool, man. So I did like Santorini as well, and it was
yeah,
great for shooting photos.
yeah. I would say that the Maldives was kind of my version of like when you said the Bahamas. It was a
Hmm.
lot of travel to basically go somewhere that's like the same thing as the Bahamas. Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe yeah, like there's the really low water everywhere, so you can like kind
yeah,
of walk out onto these dunes. I mean,
yeah.
but it's like the Bahamas for India, basically, and for
I
Europe. That's
I
kind of
got
what
you.
it was. Yeah.
And it takes out. It takes days to get there. So
Yeah,
it's
it was 30 hours, like doorstep to doorstep.
yeah. I got you.
Not, yeah.
On here, JMI Media says, "Can you guys do a workshop already?" And JMI, we both do workshops. We both do
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I actually am. When I get off of this call, I'm going right back into finishing the workshop website, which is like 95% done because
Yeah,
I decided at the point that I should have just launched the old website. I was going to rebuild a whole new one. So I
yeah.
did, and that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to be annoying about it starting tomorrow for the next month. So,
Cool.
yeah. Anything you got coming up that maybe we could shout out before we wrap up?
No, man. I mean, the stuff that I'm doing when it comes to the teaching stuff, like I said, I've positioned myself to where it's easy to access my tutorials through dannybatista.com/learn. And then, like I mentioned, all my workshops are basically I'm flying out to people. So the cool thing about what I'm doing is I don't like to do group workshops, by the way, Joey, man. For me, it's a little bit tougher to like give the interaction that I want.
Yes. Yeah.
I've done some great group workshops where I've given people as much as I could, but it's never the same as like me and you sitting side by side as a
No.
person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do that, and if for anybody that new that's joining in, I literally fly to people for free. You only pay for the hourly rate that we're going to work together, and then there's a minimum amount of hours that we would do our stuff. So the cool thing is, you can literally tell me, "Hey, Danny, I'm going to be in the Bahamas on this date with my wife, and one of the days I want to spend shooting a model. Can you bring somebody out, and can we do a workshop?" And the answer is yes, as long as the dates are open. So stuff like
Yeah.
that is how I tend to
Cool.
work.
Amazing. Dude, that's awesome, man. Well, listen, we've almost hit 3 hours. And yeah, I had a feeling. By the way, this is for anyone tuning in, like, this is the first time we've had a conversation. So,
Yeah.
you guys got to see,
Except for the potatoes we had at breakfast. Except for the
yes,
potatoes we had.
exactly. Exactly. So you got to watch a new friendship blossom,
Yeah.
online. And yes, next time we'll meet in person, like not on an interview, but you're down the street. So
Yeah.
let's like actually get together soon. We got
I'm gonna
some,
take you to a Greek spot that I know about. It's called Theo's, and it's in Fort Lauderdale. If you haven't eaten there, I want to take you there. You'll like it.
is it on Las Olas?
Um, I don't think so, man. No.
Okay, then I have not been there. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
totally down. Yes, yes,
I'll
let's
show
do it.
you.
Okay, fuck yeah, man. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for taking all this
For
time to
sure.
do this, getting me on your busy schedule, and in fact, like let's do this every once in a while if you're down.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We can figure out something to make it happen. Happy
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Well, let's do lunch at Theo's soon, and I'll text you on the side about that. And Any last thing anything else you want to share before we sign off? Or do you think we hit it all?
Um, no, I think we hit it all, man. I will just say though, I think the one important thing, man, that a lot of people are dealing with now is this whole social media thing. Try to
Hmm.
focus your attention. If I can give any advice to any aspiring photographer or somebody who doesn't realize that they can make money in this and have a successful career and provide value to people, it's you can. But I have found the most benefit outside of social media. So try to find ways to create your workflow and finding clients outside of social media. It's much easier to do to find those big budget projects. And if you have any questions, you know, Joey and I and a bunch of other people teach this kind of stuff and can help mentor this kind of stuff. So please feel free to DM me. And I'm happy to provide any kind of insight I can.
Amazing. Well, dude, thank you again. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your night. We'll talk very soon. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Sorry if I didn't get through all the questions on there, but thanks for leaving the ones you did. And yeah, dude, this was fun, man. Can't wait to do it again.
Sure. I appreciate it, Joey. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, brother. Okay, talk soon, man.
Adios.
All right, bye. Okay, I am gonna hop off of Instagram here and I'm gonna stay on. Boom, let's kill that. Okay, I am still on Twitch and YouTube. Thanks all. Cool. Okay, perfect. Anyone else still on Twitch and cool. Oh yeah, we got a nice little crowd still on Twitch. Let me see if I can fix something real quick here. I would love before I like actually get offline to see if oh man, yeah, I see all this. Let me see if I can fix my camera real quick. That drives me nuts, dude. Fucker. Hang tight. There we go. Okay, cool. Christian says this was super fun and some amazing insides. Love, love, love the swirly suggestion, swimly. Will that be up on Twitch and YouTube? I was in a meeting at work for about an hour of it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on YouTube. I'm actually going to I'm gonna put up. I'm gonna start putting everything on YouTube. I'm really deciding about moving forward because I just think that like it's been cool to do the Patreon thing. I think maybe it's time to figure out a way to get more content to live more permanently and easily accessible on YouTube than rather locked behind the paywall of Patreon. So, I need to kill. Oh shit! Hold on. Okay, cool. Let me just kill some things here. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, is all my stuff working now? I think so, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'll put this on, I've got to decide how, I think I just want to like start keeping everything on YouTube. I think that's the move. But I would love to know if you guys have any suggestions, or feedback from watching this. I think I also do want to take questions in advance, because what I realize, it is hard to have to get into a conversation and then be trying to read comments, because actually there might be comments, but you got to read stuff that's not questions. So I want to be a little more present to the person I'm speaking with. So I'm thinking maybe the right move is to do some kind of intake of questions before an interview. And then I'll have them already like lined up. I'll go. I can sort through them in advance and kind of take the best questions and move those up to the top of the queue. But wondering if you guys have any feedback before I hop off and go balls deep back into my website. Which I think I might share with you guys. Who is that? Sean. Sean, your name, unfortunately, in like my little my message box that's in OBS, the box is blue, and so is your name, and it's like impossible to read it. That's why I'm like, the fuck is it? So you did you like the format of that? You think that this is something that's definitely worth doing? Because you know, even though it's like I met Danny several years ago, just like at breakfast at Paradise Challenge, and for a minute, you know. But I think this could be a cool way to talk to people, like photographers that I really never really met, but can get them involved and do it with anybody that's anywhere. I love the insights from tonight's interview session, small talk style. Yeah, I did. I was like kind of debating on whether to sort of prepare certain questions, even though I had things in my head. I kind of came up with things I wanted to make sure I asked about, which I did ask the main ones I wanted to know about. But I did want it to just flow a little naturally, rather than like me reading off of a list of interview questions. Q&A before, and maybe some moderation to field the questions from the live. Maybe this is a move. Maybe like, I don't know if Christian, like you'd be down to help out with something like this, is maybe you could field the questions and I just keep like your text message open only, like, or like I can put my phone in like a do not disturb mode that I set up for podcasts, and you're the only person like whitelisted on there, so I'll see your texts come through, something like that. The tax stuff, no sales stuff, Swimly, Peerspace, LA, lots of good hints and people will pay attention. Yeah. Yeah, maybe Discord on another device. Yeah, that could work too. I wonder if there's a Discord plugin for shit. Sorry guys. 1 second. Fucking video. Well, at least now I know it's the emoji thing that kills my video on a Zoom interview. So I'll know to turn that off. I'm gonna put a note on my. Watch this. Hold on. I'm just gonna do this now so I don't forget. I'm gonna put a text box called kill emoji, or what is that actually called? Kill Zoom. There. So now whenever I open this window, like let's say before a stream, I'll just keep this open to remind me to turn that shit off. Yeah, so that's gonna just stay there from now on. Testing a new color. Never knew my name was hard to read. Well, part of it is when I started doing the multi-streaming, the little box for this is different now than before. So I would have never mentioned it. Actually, that's cool. I didn't know you could change your name color. And now I can read it perfectly fine. Yeah, I thought it was random too. I didn't know that. So yeah, do this more with other photographers. This could replace the podcast. Dude, listen, that is exactly what I said to Chris the other day. I was like, I finally found my shoot the shit. Like I found out how to do it. This is the podcast. It's the same. It's exactly what I was trying to do before, except before it was such a pain in the ass. They had to be there in person. It was just much more limitations to actually doing it, and this is like so much more flexible. So yeah, I think this is the podcast. And eventually what I guess I'll do is I will put these, like these will be in a playlist on YouTube. Yeah, maybe reactions, that's what it is. Why is my camera flickering like that? It's always something, man. Let me try something. Let me see if it's a... Nope, that doesn't do it. No, it's not you guys. It's on my end, the flickering. Yeah, so I have this recorded. So I definitely am going to, and I don't really think there's that much that I have to do. Is just I'll just trim off a little off the front, a little off the end. I mean, or I just throw it up. It's something on my end with the stupid camera, man. It's always a thing. There's always some, like I think it's my capture card is just like doing something weird. Hey, before I go, why don't I give you guys a little sneaky peeky of what I've been working on for the last week, basically. In fact, let's see how it looks when it's like scaled. Ooh, wait a minute. That's not good. That it thinks I'm on a phone right now? No. Okay, check this out. Shot by Evans, thank you for following. I appreciate it. Get ready for... my new website. Oh, damn it. Hold on a second. This fucking thing. Here we go. Oh, dude, I could do these like every couple weeks, every week. Okay, so check this out. New website. First of all, whenever you have a video on a site, you always have to have a backup image. So there's gonna be like a second or so that somebody is like loading it, depending on their internet speed or if they're on their cell phone. So what I did is I screenshotted the first frame of the video and made that the backup image. So it actually, see this, ready? And then it'll just turn to life, boom. So there's sort of like no, because before I had like a picture of mine and then it'd be like flash that for a second and then the thing, but you also don't want just like a blank screen. So that was my little like clever workaround. Also, if you watch this on a phone, it'll actually pull a different video that I clipped for vertical. So what you see on a display like this and what you see on the phone, same video, but one is framed vertically, and kind of optimized for the phone. So there's that. Little countdown to the workshop on this. The schedule, I just made it much simpler to kind of go through. The bonus shoot, the extra shoot day is now like built into the schedule. That was something I sort of like threw in at the end before. We got the team. Chris was old ass low res fucking photo. Got everybody's little links in here. A little moving gallery. Instead, I used to have a gallery that was like a masonry gallery that would go down the page, but like it just took up so much like vertical scrolling space, especially on the phone. So I like that this now, and you can click and open up. I do need to change all the titles. Fuck, I'm gonna add that to my to-do list tonight. Little easy drop down boxes for all the other info, so that it's not just like a bunch of text taking up space. Location, that's an important, deserved its own section. I did my own Google map that I actually made it match the color scheme. What else? Let's see. I have my testimonials here, but they also scroll on their own. I think every 5 seconds or 10 seconds gives you enough time to read one. Little sponsors page. Ooh, what's going on there? Huh, okay. Oh, no, something's fucked up. This is good to know. Okay, I know what the problem is. All right, here, let me do this. That's how I take notes of when things are wrong. Okay, cool. There's the pricing boxes and a little contact form at the end. And then what you don't see on here is there's a bunch of other pages I had to create, which were like once it's sold out, there's a redirect for that. There's once you pay, there's a page for that. So there's a bunch of little things, but this is the main gist of it. I am going to add, because I do want to give people a way to see a little more, rather like see more pictures, and I have such great photos from it. So I think I'm going to add a little layover here that says, like a button that says like BTS gallery. And it can literally be like maybe at the bottom of this, you know, see more BTS, and then you'll click that button and then it'll just open up just a whole gallery page from the workshop. So I think that's gonna be one little addition I'm gonna throw on here so you can access more footage and whatnot. But what you guys think? I want it to be very like streamlined. Let's see, this is essentially what it would look like on a phone. No, not exactly. Kind of, sort of. Make sure everything, yeah. It doesn't know it, so it doesn't think that this size is a phone quite. It actually probably thinks this is like an iPad, like, or technically, no, it is. See, it's registering the vertical video. But if I open it enough, it goes to the horizontal video. But then there's the vertical video for a phone. Yeah. And another, oops. Another thing is I have a, shit. Let me see here real quick. Let me open up this other site. So there's sort of a homepage to this. Now it's not going to be at joeywrightworkshops.com. It's going to be at Joey Wright Events. And then the workshop is its own event. And essentially this is the page. And then it has any events that are coming up. So it'll have live streams. It'll have the workshop. It'll have anything that I want to show from the main page, and including like one-day shoots that I'll be setting up. So yeah, so that's the new stuff. Wow, that's slick. Looks awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Color scheme, you like it? Thank you. Yeah, so I am like so close to done. I have a few more little pages to make. I've got to fix a few little bugs. But yeah, this is what I'm gonna hop off here and finish up this site so I can launch this motherfucker tomorrow. Is the plan. I want that email to go out tomorrow. Shit, and I have to be on set for Victor at like 1:30 in Miami. I think 1:30. Let me double check that. Yeah, 1:30. So I need to leave by like 12:15 probably. Damn. I will give Victor a big hug. Amazing, make me participate even more. I'm excited about taking all the this is the year workshops and everything are gonna be a big focus, and I'm going all in on it. Well, listen, friends. Yeah, I gotta do it. I do have a little energy left, so I'm going to, dude, your 24 has already been like 10x. Listen, I will tell you that, like, honestly, since I have been eating really fucking good, working out, all that stuff, getting my energy levels back up, I am 10 times more productive right now. And it feels good. So by the way, I wish this thing was like, I wish I could have sent it out to you guys and said, hey, tell me if you find any flaws on it, but I'm not ready for that yet because I needed to give it the one last comb over myself. But anyways, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna send it out. Okay, I got probably 4 hours of work to do on this right now. Any plans to come to Vegas this year? Not really, no. I don't actually have any plans for this year. I don't have any like travel plans set up. So no, I don't. No plans for Vegas. I only go when, like, anytime I've been in Vegas, it's never been just because I went to go for fun, but it's been like when I was shooting Tropic Beauty or there was something involved. And yeah, I got nothing going on out there. Okay, I gotta fucking do this. All right. My friends, thank you so much for hanging out. This was fun. This was, I would call, a successful test run. Zoom reactions, you can suck my balls. I will never again for that to take down my webcam. And we have to get you to WPPI one of these years out in Vegas. What are the dates of that? I'd be a great speaker. Dude, those things don't touch me though, because my work is sexy. Unless you think I'm wrong, but that was my experience at all those events in the past. Is like they like very PC speakers. Like they don't like to rock the boat. Unless it's like a cool fucking brand or something that fits in with what I do. March 1 through 5. Yeah, no, I won't be there. I'm camping March 2, 3, 4. So I'll be on the Peace River, baby. Collecting shark teeth and eating mushrooms. So, all right, friends, I gotta do it. I gotta get into the little grind here. By the way, before I go, I was debating about how high this camera should be. Should it be like aiming down more from a higher? Because I got this nice little. No, I think it was better a little lower. Like maybe that. Doesn't need to show so much of my ceiling. I think that's good. I like that. Okay, everyone. All right, peace out. Keep an eye out for the workshop stuff. Please share it if you don't mind. If you see me post something and you're like, I'm not going. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be very legendary of you. So, yeah, I would much appreciate any help I get promoting, sharing, and just putting out the word of the workshop, because I am on a little bit of a behind schedule on promoting it. I'm like a week behind where I want it to be. So anyways. Okay, well, listen, Monday night I have this chick, Josie Fetters. She's going to be my model that I'm shooting with and then doing the stream with. So, so yeah, I'm lining them up. I got a couple more that are interested now too. Yeah, another girl hit me up today, was like, hey, when can we do that live stream you talked about? She's dope. This girl, Jasmine. Anyways. All right, everyone, I'm out of here. I'm going to break all this shit down and then get this workshop site done. Okay, so hope to see you all on Monday, and I will post the full video of this on YouTube. It's probably on there now, actually. It'll be on there, but I'm going to like give it a little proper slice and dice and then re-upload it. Oh, hi, mommy. Bye. Okay, later, everyone. I'm out.